As usual, the Bears' Super Bowl quest will feature the running of Walter Payton, the all-time NFL rusher, looking for his 9th 1,000-yard season. While the offense is intact, the league's top defense will be missing 2 of its stars, Todd Bell and Al Harris, still holdouts as the new season begins. In Tampa, Lehman Bennett is the new head coach of the Buccaneers, returning from a 2-year hiatus from the NFL, and he has welcomed the fans to practice to watch him rebuild the Bucs. Bennett follows John McKay, the only other coach in Tampa Bay's 10-year history. McKay's legacy includes the talented James Wilder, the bulwark of the Bucs offense last year, with more than 2,000 total yards. So today's season opener in Chicago is a key Central Division matchup between the champion Bears and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Bay Buccaneers against the Chicago Bears.
We're live at Soldier Field in Chicago, where the game today will be played in oven-like temperatures. This early September, 92 degrees air temperature, 121 on the artificial turf today. And the Chicago Bears have won the toss, and they will receive. They will defend to our left as we see our CBS thermometer behind the players' bench registering over 90 and rising. So we'll see a lot of players in action today. Donald Igwebuike will be the kicker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris welcome you to this first kickoff of the 1985 NFL season for the Bears and the Bucs. And Igwebuike, the rookie from Clemson, knocks it through the end zone, and the Chicago Bears will start from the 20-yard line.
And there you saw one reason why they kept Igwebuike, because he kicks it into the end zone. He had the long foot that will be a benefit to the Buccaneers throughout this season.
The Bears will start Jim McMahon, recovering from his kidney injury of a year ago. Walter Payton and Matt Suhey, the familiar running back pair. Willie Gault and Dennis McKinnon coming off surgery to his knee in July. Along the front, Covert, Bortz, Hilgenberg, Becker, and Van Horn, one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Henry Moorhead, the tight end. First down, Chicago. McKinnon in motion. And McMahon flares it out to Payton. Payton gets the block and picks up about 7 yards. Stopped by the nose man, David Logan, who ranged out from the center of the line to pick up Walter Payton. And the Bears will be second and about 3. Defensively for the Buccaneers, John Cannon at left end, David Logan, the outstanding nose man, and Chris Lindstrom. That's not exactly Leroy Selman starting there. Selman gone for the year, and the rookie Ron Holmes favoring an Achilles injury. A strong linebacking core with Chris Washington, Jeff Davis, Scott Bradley, and Hugh Green coming back from injuries a year ago. And in the secondary, Jeremiah Castile and John Holt on the corner. Newcomer David Greenwood from the USFL starts at strong safety. And another newcomer acquired from the Rams, Ivory Sully, is the free safety. On 2nd and 3. To the 30-yard line, Chris Washington stops Walter Payton. And it is good enough for the first down. So the Bears have their first down of 1985.
And there you're looking at the all-time rusher in the National Football League, 13,309 yards total. That's what he got last year. We're going to have quite a duel today with James Wilder against Walter Payton, 2 of the best in the business, and Lehman Bennett and his debut as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer coach. The Buccaneers were 1-3 in exhibition season, but Bennett had a history of doing well with Atlanta in the first game of the year.
On first down, McMahon wants to throw, and he's got his man, Willie Gault. Close to the first down yardage, but I think just short by about a half yard. Let's see what the spot is. It'll be a long yard. Jeremiah Castile, number 23, pushed him out of bounds. And so the Bears will have second and, well, a little more than a yard. They'll spot it at the 39-yard line of Chicago.
And that's one area where the Bears are going to try and improve this year. The passing game, especially on first down, the control-type passes, 10 yards out, pitches. They hadn't done it all that well during the exhibition season, but right that time you saw they come out through on first down against the Bucs defense.
Gault is wide left, McKinnon wide right. Running backs in a wide throw set, and they bring Suhey inside, plowing for the first down. It appears he has it to about the 41, maybe the 42-yard line. Stacked up in the middle of the defensive front. John Cannon, the defensive end, number 78, and linebacker Hugh Green on the tackle. Suey's numbers from a year ago. Peyton, the primary ball carrier for the Bears, and that's reflected in the number of carries for Matt Suey. From the 42-yard line, the opening offensive series of the regular season for Chicago. Their second first down out of the eye. Peyton in motion. Play action for McMahon. McMahon to Moorhead, incomplete. Pretty good rush on McMahon from the outside, led by Chris Lindstrom, number 71, and number 30, David Greenwood, coming from the secondary on a blitz.
That's one thing the Bucs will do with you. They will blitz those safeties sometimes on the first down situation. That time Greenwood was in there. McMahon had no time to throw the pass out. And of course, that's where they have to do some improving as far as defense. It's hard to believe you have to talk about the Tampa Bay defense having to improve, but it was the offense that carried them a little bit more because of injuries and just a declining of the Tampa Bay defense over the past 2 or 3 years.
So it is 2nd and 10 for Chicago. Peyton in motion. Suey inside. Bit of a miscue on the handoff. I don't think it would have made much difference, but you can see Jim McMahon, well, we can at the moment, as he was kind of shaking his hand as he and Suey collided on the handoff, and there was no gain on the play as Washington and Brantley put the stop on him.
Plus, give some credit to John Cannon. He busted across the line of scrimmage, got inside the block, and messed up the play.
John Cannon comes out. Ron Holmes, the rookie from Washington, their number 1 choice this year, makes his first appearance. We expect a lot of substitutions because of the heat. 3rd and 10. Deep downfield for Willie Galt, incomplete. The ball was there, but right at the sideline, and Galt might have taken a look down to see whether he was going to be able to make the catch inbounds. So the Buccaneers have stopped the Bears. Holt had the coverage on Willie Galt, and Chicago will have to punt.
There's Iron Mike Ditka, head coach of the Chicago Bears, who has made them a contender, coming here with a team that had not done well the previous year. Each year, the Bears have improved, and as you know, they won the Central Division title last year. And that could be a big job this year, right, Tim? According to history.
History indicates if you beat your division rival, one of them, in an opening game, you will usually go on to a good season. Maury Buford, a new Bears punter, beating out Dave Finzer for the punting job. Nails a good one inside the 10. And the return man is Leon Bright. Bright with a good return out to the 29-yard line for Tampa Bay. So Buford's good punt was well returned by Leon Bright for 20 yards, and Tim Reitman made the stop. We'll be right back with no score. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris at Soldier Field in Chicago. A good punt return by Leon Bright, former New York Giant. Brought the Bucs to the 29-yard line. There is Lehman Bennett, after 2 years away from the game, got the itch, got the money, turned up in Tampa Bay, replacing John McKay.
And he had a winning record at Atlanta, 46-41, made the playoffs 3 times, and I'm surprised he was out of the game for a couple of years, actually.
We asked him what he'd been doing. Did he just go fishing, as fired coaches generally do? He said, did some of that. Also opened a recreational vehicle dealership in Atlanta. Became a businessman. On first down, DeBerg to Wilder. Wilder picks up about 5 yards, close to the 35-yard line, where Singletary and Wilbur Marshall made the tackle. Steve DeBerg, 6'3", 205-pounder from San Jose State, has James Wilder as his lone setback. Kevin House and Gerald Carter, 2 burners at wide receiver. Jerry Bell, the tight end, or the U-back, as Lehman Bennett calls him. And the front line, Yarno, Corson, Grimes, Sean Farrell at Dandy, second-year man Ron Heller, and an outstanding tight end, number 88, Jimmy Giles. 2nd and 5 for the Buccaneers. Their opening offensive series of 85. Wilder again breaks a tackle and has running room. James Wilder to the 41-yard line of the Bears. Leslie Frazier and Steve McMichael finally pulled him down, but a first down, Tampa Bay.
Good blocking in the offensive line, but there was a couple of missed tackles, and of course it's easy to miss a tackle against Wilder, who weighs 225 pounds. Gary Fensick, number 45, had his hands on him, but he busted away, took off down the field before Les Frazier and a host of Bears pull Mr. Wilder down. He's carried the ball both times, one by pass, one by run, and of course that was the model last year for Tampa Bay.
Look at that, 407-yard 407 carries, a league record a year ago. 25-yard gain for Wilder. DeBerg on play action as Giles wide open. Jimmy Giles for a first down, Tampa Bay, all the way to the Chicago 22-yard line. Fensick and Dave Dewerson made the tackle there.
And what a fake by DeBerg, and then a roll out to the action. Watch the fake to Wilder. Everybody clamps on Wilder. Now Giles, when he gets this ball, I thought he was going to lateral back to the quarterback. There's DeBerg. He threw it to him, was just right behind him, but he just takes off down the field. He was wide open. Jimmy Giles, who will be playing more this year because he's going to be in on third down situations with the new one-back offense.
17-yard gain. Another Buccaneers first down. Singletary wildly organizing the Bears defense. Wilder takes it wide and gets to the 20-yard line for a gain of 3, where Singletary, number 50 for the Bears, made the tackle. Singletary was one of 3 Bears holdouts, the only one who came in. His defensive teammates, Todd Bell and Al Harris, no doubt looking in today. Defensively across the front, Hartenstein, McMichael, Dan Hampton, and NFL sack leader a year ago, Richard Dent. The linebacking core has been adjusted somewhat with Wilbur Marshall in place of Al Harris. And the secondary, Richardson, Frazier, Dave Dewerson in Todd Bell's spot, and Gary Fensick, the veteran free safety. Second, and let's call it 6 for Tampa Bay, at the Bears' 20-yard line. Wilder hit behind the line of scrimmage, breaks tackles, but is finally plowed down right at the 20 for little, if any, gain. But he shook off 2 Bear tacklers who had a chance to drop him for a loss. Singletary and Dewerson finally pulled him down.
That's what you call penetration by the defensive line. Dan Hampton busted by Grimes at the center and just took care of any kind of coordination on that play. You know, a lot of people are saying that Tampa Bay has an advantage of this game because they've been working out in that humidity down in Florida. It's going to be hot. You're going to see some reserves playing because, as you said, Tim, it's very hot on the football field.
At the 20-yard line on third down, Sean Gale in defensively. DeBerg hits Jerry Bell, and Bell bulls his way close to the goal line. Finally stopped by Sean Gale, the nickelback, number 23. But Jerry Bell, 230-pound U-back, just overpowered young Mr. Gale.
Well, it was Mike Richardson, number 27, who went for the interception there. Instead of going for the tackle, went for the interception, and Bell showed some determination here as he bust over Sean Gale and almost got himself into the end zone. And I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers remember the last 3 games where they've been outscored by Chicago, I believe 107-25, and I think there's a little feeling they want to make amends and get even a little bit.
First and goal at the 1.5-yard line. William Perry, the refrigerator, in defensively for the Bears. Play action, wide open, touchdown. Beautiful play, well executed to Kelvin McGee, the rookie tight end from Southern University, running out of the U-back position. Perfectly executed touchdown.
There was a mistake in the defensive backfield because he's open right now. There's nobody even around him. And finally, DeBerg spots him and says, I better get the ball to him before it gets out of the end zone. Easy, nice, tough drive by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, of course, we'll have to be talking about how much do the Bears miss those 2 defensive holdouts because it seemed like Tampa Bay romped right down the field.
An impressive opening offensive series for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Igwe Bike has the point after, and so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers under Lehman Minutes strike first here in Chicago. DeBerg to McGee, 7-0 Tampa Bay.
There is Bear defensive coordinator Buddy Ryan talking to his Vaughan defense, which was #1 in the NFL last year, trying to figure out what went wrong, where the mistakes were made, because Tampa Bay confused the Bear defense during that entire drive. It was a beautiful drive, wasn't it, Tim?
71 yards and 7 plays, Johnny, and got to be a great feeling for Steve DeBerg and company with a somewhat reconstructed offensive line. George Yarno back from the USFL. Ron Heller, the second-year man from Penn State, playing hurt with a sore knee. Randy Grimes taking over for Steve Wilson at center, and they really just plowed their way down, and Igwe Bike knocks another one deep near the end line, and Ken Taylor elected not to bring it out, the rookie defensive back number 31. So Chicago will start again from their 20-yard line.
It also has to be an early confidence builder for DeBerg, who did not have a good game last week in the final exhibition season. As we look at some scores here, Atlanta has the early lead over Detroit, 7-0 first quarter.
in New England in front of Green Bay 7-0 on a Tony Collins 11-yard touchdown run. The Giants quickly in front of the Eagles 14-0. Phil Simms has a touchdown pass on the first score of the game to Lionel Manuel. First down, Chicago Bears. Suey in motion. To give to Payton. Payton skips inside blockers, has Moorhead in front of him. Payton to the sideline. Over the 40 to the 42-yard line of Chicago. A 21-yard pickup for Walter Payton. Ivory Sully and Chris Washington. 44 and 51 made the tackle.
It looks like Payton broke one of his shoulder pads there. He's changing clothes quickly, but on this draw play, he just great quickness as the Bucs actually had a defense, and he is so quick to the sidelines. Gives him that little strut, carrying the ball in one hand, little high knee, then he puts the ball away, and finally the Buccaneers come over and stop him. And you got to gang tackle Walter Payton. You got to gang tackle him, or you are in big trouble.
Well, while they fix his shoulder pads, Dennis Gentry, number 29, the four-year man from Baylor, comes in to replace him. He's in motion. Ken Marjoram in at wide receiver. Suey on the pitch out. Suey cuts it upfield, fumbled the ball, but play had been whistled dead at the 46-yard line. It'll be a 4-yard gain for the Chicago Bears, and Suey was lucky that they got a whistle. Hugh Green really put a hit on him, and Suey is really groggy. Calvin Thomas came on the field immediately to help his teammate off, and Thomas will go in to replace Matt Suey. Hugh Green had a series of injuries last year, one of them off field from an automobile accident, is at 100% and raring to go.
Hugh Green is 53 now. You're going to see what happens. Suey cuts back up the field and then runs into the pursuit back the other side. We'll have to see if he gets hit in the head, because they seem to be kind of groggy and dizzy. A couple of he just got hit by a couple of big boys, one of them being Hugh Green.
So Suey getting some attention on the Bears bench. Calvin Thomas is in the ball game, number 33 at fullback. Second and a long 5. Short drop, the quick pitch out to Willie Galt. Galt trying to get away from John Holt, number 21, but Holt pulls him down. However, Chicago picks up a first down at the Buccaneer 42-yard line. And now for an NFL Today report of the Giant-Eagles game. Let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Tim, the Giants have jumped all over the Eagles in the Meadowlands. Phil Simms threw for a touchdown. Here's Joe Morris for the second one. And the Giants lead the Eagles 14-0. Let's go back to Tim and Johnny.
Okay, Brent. Well, a lot of people like the Giants in that very tough East Division of the NFC. First down, Chicago Bears at the Tampa Bay 42. Second offensive series for Chicago. They trail 7-0. The Buccaneers scoring on their opening drive. McKinnon in motion. They give us to Payton. Payton dances his way to the 35-yard line of Tampa Bay for a pickup of nearly 7. Hugh Green and Ivory Sully, the former Los Angeles Ram, made the tackle for the Buccaneers. Payton with 33 yards on 3 carries. Wilder has 29 yards on 3 carries for the Buccaneers, including a 25-yarder that led to the Tampa score.
There's Matt Suey back on his feet, so I think it really was you can get knocked in the head and kind of lose consciousness for 3 or 4 seconds, rings your bell, and then usually you kind of the cobwebs shake out and you're okay. It appears he's okay.
A little early action. John Cannon, number 78, whether he was drawn over, and he may well have been, by his opposite number 78, Keith Van Horn. We'll find out from our referee today, Gene Barth.
Well, they called 79. They called it on Kurt Becker, the guard, rather than Van Horn. Van Horn and the 278, John Cannon, were talking about it. And Van Horn said, "You did it." He pointed at him and said, "You did it."
Becker just went.
And Becker says, "How did I get involved?"
That's great. Becker says, "Hey, you know, I might lose a point in my grading system for that. Let's get the right man here." So he passed it off on the guilty party, Van Horn, his teammate to his right. That'll be subject of some post-game discussion between the two, I'm sure. Turns into a 1-yard gain on the play. Second and 9, Chicago at the Tampa Bay 40-yard line. McKinnon. First down Bears to the Tampa 30-yard line. Jeremiah Castillo, the 3-year man from Alabama, made the tackle.
It appears that Dennis McKinnon's knee is okay. Now, he actually falls down and slips as he goes down the field, slips down, gets back up. The timing was perfect between McMahon and McKinnon, and finally, it's Castile who has to make the tackle, as Dennis McKinnon's been playing with a sore knee.
McMahon is 4 of 6. Steve DeBerg was 3 of 3 on the scoring drive opening the offensive series for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bears in Bucs territory at the 30-yard line. Slot formation right. Walter Payton behind Becker. Good defensive reaction by the Buccaneers, driving him out of bounds. The linebackers and the nose man, Dave Logan. Number 58, Jeff Davis, over there out of bounds with Logan, number 76. Payton picked up 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7.
The Bears fans thought it was a little bit rough on the sidelines. I'll tell you, number 78 Van Horn and number 78 Cannon are having a real battle. Once again, they went at it on that play. As you look at Mike Ditka, who used to go at it with everybody. An offensive intimidator when he was a player, and usually your intimidators are on defense. But he was an offensive intimidator.
The Buccaneers have rookie Ron Holmes in at right defensive end, number 90, the number 1 choice from Washington, bothered with an Achilles injury. 2nd down. McMahon gets time. Wobbly pass for McKinnon, incomplete. On the coverage, number 44, Ivory Sully, coming up, ready to put a wrap on McKinnon. The pass not well thrown, and McKinnon unable to pull it in.
I think maybe Jeff Davis might have ticked that ball. The linebacker dropping off. He got his hand up there, and he might have ticked that ball slightly.
There's a look at Jim McMahon a moment ago as the Buccaneers send in extra defensive backs, and we give you some scores. San Francisco on a touchdown run by Roger Craig leads Minnesota 7-0. Kansas City in front of New Orleans on a pass from Bill Kennedy to Walt Arnold, 7-0. And it is 3rd down here, and nearly 8 yards to go. Out of the shotgun, flags are down. The pass to Payton makes a good one-hander. Payton has 1st down yardage and is hit just inside the 20-yard line by Ivory Sully. But a flag was down before the pass was thrown.
I think David Logan might have jumped off sides unless he was drawn offside. It was 76 who came across the line of scrimmage, so I imagine it will be declined.
Defense, 56, offside, penalty refused, 1st down.
The offside penalty against the Buccaneers declined by Chicago, and they'll have 1st down on the game just inside the 20-yard line of Tampa Bay. Defensive substitutions for the Bucs now on 1st down. Jim McMahon, you saw his haircut if you saw the opening of our telecast today. Something he decided to do during training camp out of boredom in Platteville, Wisconsin. Down, it's Walter Payton trying to get wide, and good defensive work again by Tampa Bay. Coming up to force the play, David Greenwood, number 30. Even though he was blocked, he forced Payton to change his direction.
You called it right. It was Greenwood who came across. He was going to be blocked by Covert. The left tackle pulling on that play from the left side all the way to the right on a right-end run, and Greenwood, who was playing his 1st game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, got across the line of scrimmage, took the hit, and messed up the play.
Loss of a yard, as it turned out. Good work by Greenwood. The tackle was made by Jeff Davis, number 58. Greenwood, a rookie from Wisconsin, a rookie in the NFL, has been playing in the USFL. His rights were owned by New Orleans, acquired in a deal by the Bucs this past week. Play action, good fake by McMahon, and touchdown, Dennis McKinnon. Perfect strike for a 21-yard score. McMahon to McKinnon.
Off to play action. Cannon gets across there, gets blocked. That gives McMahon some time. And this ball was going kind of slowly. Watch, there's all kinds of Tampa Bay Buccaneers that swiped their hands at it. But McKinnon found the hole, took it in. Touchdown, Chicago.
There is Dennis McKinnon coming off the knee surgery in July and still getting very special care. He didn't practice every day this past week for Chicago, but says he feels no ill effects. And the new place kicker for the Chicago Bears, Kevin Butler, makes his 1st appearance. And we have a tie football game with 2:49 remaining in the 1st quarter. The Bucs 7, the Bears 7. Well, there is Dennis McKinnon, the 3rd-year man, a free agent from Florida State in 1983. And a 21-yard touchdown score. The Bears moving 80 yards following the Tampa Bay kickoff. It took them 10 plays. They used up 5:05 on the clock. Then we have a tie game. Kevin Butler, the rookie from Georgia, kicks off for the Bears. It comes down inside the goal line and is taken by Phil Freeman, a Buccaneer rookie who's got running room. Freeman is tackled by the kicker, Butler, at the Bear 45-yard line. A 57-yard return by Phil Freeman, a rookie wide receiver converted from running back, which he had been at Arizona, the 5th choice of Tampa Bay this year.
Okay, he took the ball on the goal line, hit right up the middle, and then turns on the speed. He's a former running back, as you know, finds the crease behind the 4 horsemen, then puts a move on 48 Reggie Phillips and turns on the speed, and only the kicker, Butler, was the only man who had a chance to get him, and he had the angle on him, knocked him out of bounds on the sidelines. But this is going to be a heck of a football game. Tampa Bay Buccaneers have come here to play football.
And they will be starting at the 44-yard line of the Chicago Bears. DeBerg, the quarterback. Passing on first down, going deep. He's got a man open. Touchdown, Kevin House. 44-yard touchdown. Steve DeBerg to Kevin House on first down, and the Buccaneers are back in front.
What speed by Kevin House. He beat Mike Richardson, and Steve DeBerg, who couldn't hit anybody last week. What a week will do sometimes, as House just takes it on, turns up the speed, runs by Mike Richardson, turns it on, and the pass was right out there. That's where a receiver wants it, to the inside and just over the top of the left shoulder. He takes it in. Tampa Bay, as I said, has come to play football.
A sensational touchdown play following a sensational kick return by the rookie Freeman. And then DeBerg right on the money to the speedy Kevin House.
Boy, didn't that silence the crowd here in Chicago?
Did it ever. The sellout at Soldier Field stunned as Igwebuike comes up with a point after, the Nigerian import. And the Bucs are in front 14-7. Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris. A picture touchdown, Johnny.
Yes, it was the regular 5-step drop back, good pass blocking by the Bucs, and a perfect pass, just the old fly pattern, and you depend on your receiver to beat the cornerback who was man for man on the coverage, and that was a classic. If you're going to beat the Chicago Bear defense, you beat them that way, because they give you a lot of one-on-one coverage on the corners.
And the one on the one was number 27, Mike Richardson. Just was beaten cleanly by the speedy Kevin House, who does that to a lot of guys one-on-one.
They must have been watching the game films. Richardson got beat last week on a one-on-one situation.
And that was somewhat history-making, that series of 2 plays by Tampa Bay. Look at Igwebuike, just drilled it not only through the end zone, but right into the stands.
And I think through the uprights.
Wow, that's impressive.
You know, they could put in a new rule. If you kick off and it goes between the uprights, give you 1 point or something like that. You know, let's spice up the game.
Yeah, he is from Anambra, Nigeria, and was brought to Clemson by a friend of his from his childhood, Obed Oriri, and wound up beating out Oriri as the kicker for the Buccaneers. So I don't know whether they're still talking to each other or not.
Oh, yes, they are.
Oriri will probably turn up on somebody else's roster. First down, Chicago from the 20-yard line, as Igwebuike has not given them anything else to work with. They're starting from the 20 again. Thomas and Payton, the running backs. Walter Payton trying the inside, off tackle to the right. A gain of about 6 yards to the 26-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 4 as Cannon and David Greenwood made the tackle on Walter Payton. And you can see our official temperature on our official thermometer.
That's 94 degrees, but of course it's much harder out on the carpet, and this will be a factor, I think, more in the second half. Wouldn't you have to imagine? It's hot when you're down on that carpet. They say about 120.
Definitely going to have some effect as the game goes on. That thermometer mounted just behind the Bears players bench on the near side of the stadium. So it is 2nd and 3, Chicago. Calvin Thomas appears to have gained the first down over the 30 to the 32-yard line. Stacked up by the middle of the defense of the Buccaneers, with Jeff Davis and David Logan making the tackle.
And something new at Soldier Field is air conditioners. Because it is so hot, they have put air conditioners down by the benches. It throws out air at about 60 degrees, dehumidified air, and it's also on the other side for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've never had that here before. Usually they had just fans. They decided because it was so hot they would try and help the players a little bit. I don't know how much it helps.
First down Bears from their own 32-yard line in the I formation. Matt Suey has not returned from that bell ringer administered by Hugh Green. This is Calvin Thomas running hard. And Thomas picks up about 5, maybe 6 yards running straight ahead. Thomas reported a little heavy to the training camp this year and is certainly playing over his listed weight of 220, but seems to be perambulating quite effectively.
Well, he is still in there, so Matt Stewie must be a little bit dizzy still. Thomas, of course, has 2 bad shoulders. He's had to run more straight up because of shoulder injuries. And there is Matt Stewie, who is trying to gather his thoughts.
So it'll be 2nd and 4, a 6-yard pickup by Thomas. The ball at the Bears' 37-yard line. They trail 14-7 as the Buccaneers struck quickly following the kickoff return by Freeman. McMahon forced from the pocket and then is sacked. First sack of the day by either team at the 35-yard line, a loss of 2. Jeff Davis, number 58, made the tackle on him.
A loss of 2.
They brought a lot of people that time. Jeff Davis and Keith Browner, everybody putting the blitz on as they force McMahon to run through in the pocket, and there's a whole bunch of linebackers to pick him up. So a pretty good pass rush, fair coverage down the field. McMahon could not find a receiver.
So the gun sounds ending the first period of play here at Soldier Field in Chicago, with the Buccaneers 14 and Chicago 7. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris at Soldier Field in Chicago. The Bears begin the second quarter. 3rd down and 7. A 4-man front now for Tampa Bay, showing something different with Green and Washington, the lone linebackers, on 3rd down. And the pass for McKinnon, incomplete. Close coverage on him by Paul Dombrowski, the nickelback, another new acquisition to the Buccaneers secondary. A 6-year man from tiny Linfield College in Oregon, picked up on waivers from the Patriots this year.
The Bears asked for trouble on that one because they had Marjoram and McKinnon close together, 2 receivers right there at the same spot, and that drew a crowd, and Dombrowski made the play. So Tampa Bay is going to get the ball back.
Maury Buford, number 6, comes in to punt. Acquired in a trade from San Diego. He's standing at the Bears' 20-yard line. And it is Leon Bright. And it looked like he might have lost that in the sun and let it bounce behind him. And unfortunately for Bright, it went into the goal line. It was kind of an interesting thing. It looked like he ducked his head as though he lost it in the sun and seemed to be still bothered his eyes after the ball bounced behind him. But it did go into the end zone. 65-yard punt by Buford. A flag down upfield at the 40-yard line of Tampa Bay.
It's going to be against Chicago, but I believe that Tampa Bay is going to refuse and just take the ball.
Illegal motion, the signal against the Chicago Bears.
See, that's one thing you have to do in Soldier Field when you practice fielding punts. The sun is a factor in that direction, but there's ways that you can field a punt and get your body positioned so you don't lose it in the sun. They were very lucky in that situation because the ball, of course, it was a penalty, but the ball went on into the end zone. It's like a baseball player when he catches a fly ball. You kind of come from a certain angle, and the sun doesn't bother you so much.
So the Buccaneers start from the 20-yard line. The Soldier Field crowd comes alive, trying to exhort the Chicago defense to get the ball back. Tampa Bay leads 14-7 here in the second quarter. James Wilder, forced wide by Marshall, and knocked out of bounds by Duerson, and a flag down as 2 more Bears tackle him out of bounds, led by Singletary and Richard Dent. So there'll likely be a roughing penalty against Chicago after a good defensive play. Well, they came out fired up in the costume.
They have called it on Mike Singletary, and that is what you say is nullifies a good defensive play. Actually, it was Otis Wilson who came across the line of scrimmage to force Wilder to go deep. And we'll see the end of it here. There's Duerson, 22, and here comes Singletary, and it's a good call because he's way over into the white. That white stripe is 6 feet wide, and Singletary hit him at least 4 or 5 feet beyond there. So it was a good call and should have been called.
From the 33-yard line, first down, Tampa Bay. They lead 14-7. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris here at Soldier Field, where the temperatures are in the 90s. Wilder breaks another tackle and bowls close to a first down over the 40 to the 42, where Gary Fensick, the safety man, number 45, finally made the tackle, a 10-year man from Yale. Wilder has been nearly unstoppable here in this first half.
Well, he's an Iron Man. Anybody that carries the ball 407 times, which is an all-time record. When you think of some of the football players that have been dominant football players, none of them carried as many times as James Wilder.
36 yards for Wilder on 5 carries thus far. It is 2nd and a yard to go for Tampa Bay. And it's Wilder again. Cuts it upfield for a first down. Tampa Bay close to the midfield stripe at the 50. And Gary Fensick again having to make the tackle deep in the Bears secondary.
And it was Jimmy Giles who threw the block to allow Wilder to delay and then cut up the field. He had Wilbur Marshall, stayed with him, then kicked him out as Wilder moved up the field. So Jimmy Giles throwing a few blocks out there.
Gene Sanders has come in at left guard for the Buccaneers, replacing Steve Corson. Sanders, number 74, 7-year veteran from Texas A&M. First down, Tampa Bay. Steve DeBerg, 5 for 5 so far today for Tampa.
46 defense for the Bears.
Short drop. Flares it out for Gerald Carter, complete for a gain of 4. Hit immediately by Leslie Frazier, number 21. DeBerg is 6 for 6. His touchdown pass was the longest of his career as a Buccaneer, a 44-yard strike to Kevin House.
Have you noticed most of the Tampa Bay passes have been from the short drop? In other words, you're not giving the Bears a chance to tee off on their blitz or with their good pass rushers, trying to get rid of the ball. Even on the long pass, the 44-yard touchdown pass, he just dropped back quickly, threw it up and over before the rush had a chance to get there. Good strategy by Tampa Bay.
The gain turns into a 4-yard mark. It is 2nd and 6 for Tampa Bay in Bears territory, and early action on the left side of the Bears defensive line. Flags are down. Hartenstein jumped.
False start on the quarterback. Illegal movement, 17.
And the reason he jumped was Steve DeBerg was charged with a false start, illegal movement, usually jerking your head up or making some kind of a motion,
Illegal
perhaps
movement by the quarterback.
stepping back.
Penalty, still 2nd down.
And Gene Barth.
They put that rule in a few years ago. Remember when some of the quarterbacks used to jerk their heads or whatever they could do to change their inflection to pull them off sides, and they finally decided they had to control that.
So the loss of 5 makes it 2nd and nearly 11 back in Tampa Bay territory at their own 49. Slot formation left, the U-back Bell on the wing. DeBerg, whoa, what a catch by Carter. No, he couldn't hold on. Nice try by Gerald Carter, number 87. A diving attempt with coverage from Richardson, but the ball hit the turf.
Gerald Carter's had some big games against the Chicago Bears. He caught 21 passes in the last 4 times that they've played each other. He had a big bomb against Chicago in the early in the season last year.
Theo Bell comes in to give the Buccaneers 3 wide receivers. Jerry Bell, the U-back, comes out. DeBerg's first incompletion of the game so far. He's now 6 of 7. The Buccaneers hoping to change that number. 11 consecutive losses on the road. They lead here in the 2nd quarter. 3rd down. They give it to Wilder. Wilder is stopped short of the first down by 5 or 6 yards as Singletary made the tackle on him, and Dan Hampton, number 99. So Tampa Bay will have to punt, and Singletary made up for his miscue out of bounds by making the stop on Wilder.
There's number 50 who stays in on that nickel defense in the pass coverage, one of the few linebackers that does, and he just looks for James Wilder and knocks him down as the Bucs opted not to pass into that defensive coverage of the Bears and try and do it on a run.
Frank Garcia in for his first punt of the ball game for Tampa Bay. Ken Taylor, Bears rookie, is back for it. Garcia nails that one. Comes down at the 5, but bounces upfield. And there's a loose ball near the 10-yard line, picked up by the Buccaneers, taken into the end zone by Ivory Sully, number 44, but he cannot, in that situation, take the ball in for a touchdown. He cannot advance it, but the Buccaneers have the ball. First down at the Chicago 11-yard line.
How about those turn of events? You cannot, it was a muff, like you say, he never had possession, so you can't take it in for the touchdown.
Ball was touched by the receiving team, recovered by the kicking team, but he cannot advance. their ball, first down.
And it was touched by the rookie Taylor, who saw the ball go over his head. He thought it would be a touchback, but watch the bounce. It hit him right in the chest. He was surprised, I'm sure, to see the ball come back upfield because it was headed toward the end zone. And there's Sully picking up the loose ball, and it's Tampa with a great opportunity here. First down at the 11-yard line of Chicago, and they lead 14-7 with 11:37 remaining in the first half. Lone setback is Wilder. He has the ball. No play action. Nice fake. Touchdown, Jerry Bell. Steve DeBerg with a beautiful fake, and Jerry Bell wide open, as the Bears twice now have left receivers wide open for scores.
Just tremendous faking, and of course Wilder takes the ball so much as the counter. You can see everybody goes for James Wilder, and Bell is, God, he is so open, it's hard to analyze it. A mistake on the defense somewhere.
So Tampa Bay again taking advantage. Right after the big play, they had a 57-yard kickoff return by rookie Phil Freeman. They struck on first down with a 44-yard bomb to house. Here they recover on the muff punt return by the Bears, as Iwebike connects on the point after. And on first down, DeBerg hits Jerry Bell, and it is 21-7 Tampa Bay. 128 players later, it's come down to the top two. John McEnroe, the #1 seed, defending champion, against #2 Ivan Lendl, coming up at 4 o'clock Eastern Time here on CBS Sports. And if it's as exciting as McEnroe's match with Vilander yesterday, you're in for some real serious tennis excitement today. Short kickoff from Iwebike, and it's taken by Gentry, who runs it over the 33-yard line and is straightened up literally by Irvin Randall, the rookie linebacker from Baylor. A good field position for the Bears after the 18-yard kickoff return by Gentry. They'll be at their 33-yard line, trailing 21-7. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have shocked the Bears in this first half of play.
They got a big break, and they took advantage of it. On that punt, if you had seen that punt, you'd never believe that it would have gone backwards because it was coming at such a line drive, but sometimes the point of the ball hits a certain way. They got a break. One play later, they score. That's what you call taking advantage of your breaks.
So McMahon brings out the Bears in the I formation. Still Calvin Thomas for the injured Matt Suey. Play action on first down. McMahon has a man open, complete. Willie Galt at the 45-yard line of Tampa Bay. And on the coverage and the tackle, Jeremiah Castile, a 22-yard pickup.
Olympic speed for Willie Galt, and Jeremiah Castile is going to give him plenty of room. Look at the room between Galt and Castile, and then he gets him going backwards, comes back, falls. The pass was perfect for McMahon. That's what you call timing on the precision passing game.
First down at the 45, and chatting with Willie Galt yesterday, he's eager to catch more passes than he has in the past. He feels somewhat demeaned. He thinks people still don't accept him as a football player and a top NFL receiver. But he says, I'll play my role. I'd like to get those bombs, and I'd like to get those possession plays. First down. Man open is Galt. Oh, he dropped the ball. Perfect pass from McMahon to Galt, who had everybody beat, and he dropped the ball. What was I just saying?
That's one of the reasons he hasn't been in the passing game as much. This time, he beats Castile, gets some help from Curry. McMahon, under pressure, put the ball right where it's supposed to be. You couldn't ask for anything more than that. I'm trying to see if he messed up on his fundamentals. Just hit him right in the hands and went down as he tried to cradle into his body. So the Buccaneers get a break as Willie Galt drops the pass. And he'll remember that one for a long, long time. 2nd and 10, a 4-man front for the Bucs. Don Fielder, Carl Morgan, and rookie Ron Holmes are now in on the front with David Logan. 5 defensive backs on 2nd and 10. McMahon gets some time, and he's got the tight end Reitman down to the 20-yard line. Tim Reitman took a pretty good shot at the sideline, whereas both Greenwood and Craig Curry, the second-year man from Texas, put the hit on him, but Reitman
with a big first down.
Who has been plagued by knee injuries. It's David Greenwood is on the coverage, and we have to give McMahon some credit here. McMahon is throwing the passes right on the dime, 3 in a row. This time he hit Reitman, who was fairly well covered by Greenwood. Reitman turns up the field and takes it down. He signed originally in the USFL after he was drafted by the Chicago Bears. Played for the Blitz in Arizona and is back and made this football team as a backup to Emory Moorhead.
Drafted by the Bears in 1982 as their #2 pick out of UCLA. Went to the USFL and signed as a free agent this year. Play action on first down. McMahon with lots of time and a wide open Calvin Thomas. Inside the 10, breaks a tackle inside the 5. First and goal, Chicago. On the tackle, number 30, David Greenwood, who's been a busy man in his debut as a Buck. And Hugh Green there with a number 53.
Well, everything is off the play action, and McMahon seems to be getting his time. They take the blitz and knock 53 out of there. That's Hugh Green. And here's Thompson. You'll see Brantley, 52, misses a tackle as Thompson shows some pretty good agility. And finally, a host of Bucs take him down. So the Bears were thwarted when Galt dropped it. Came right back at 3 successful plays, and now have a chance to get on the board anyway.
You see Hugh Green come all the way back from being blocked on his rush to get in on the tackle. And it is first and goal. Andy Frederick in a tackle, number 71 for the Bears, and Thomas runs out behind that side and gets to the 1-yard line. It'll be second and goal from the 1. And they have Frederick in as an extra blocker on these short yardage situations inside the 5. He becomes a second tight end in this circumstance for Chicago. Calvin Thomas a little shaken up on the play, and he's in there for Matt Suey, who had his bell rung a little earlier.
I mentioned that Thomas has had some problems with shoulders and a shoulder operation during the offseason. The other one got hurt during the exhibition season, and it appeared he had to use those shoulders that time because he was banged by 2 or 3 Bucs. And Suey wanted to go back in the game. He says, "I'm okay, coach. I can play." They want to wait and see what the situation is, because when you get hit in the head, you're always reluctant. That's Johnny Rowland, the Bears' offensive backfield coach there, talking with Suey. You're always a little reluctant to put a player back in too soon if you got dinged in the head.
Well, Suey still getting attention, or rather Thomas still getting attention on the field, and Suey discussing things with Johnny Rowland and now Walter Payton. And Matt says, "Hey, I can handle this. I'm fine. Let me go get it in the end zone." The ball's been spotted inside the 1-yard line. The Bears trailing 21-7 as Steve DeBerg has 3 touchdown passes for Tampa Bay, including his longest as a Buccaneer quarterback, a 44-yard bomb to Kevin House. And Calvin Thomas apparently is okay. Coming over to the Bears sideline, a little encouragement from Walter Payton. Well, elsewhere in the NFL, I think we have some scores to report to you. Green Bay trailing New England 12-0 now, and that's help, of course, for both the Bears and the Bucs when other division rivals are losing. The Giants continue to lead Philadelphia 14-0 in the second period. And it is second and goal at the 1-yard line for Chicago. Down by 2 touchdowns, Gentry and Payton. And Walter Payton is stopped. Hugh Green came firing in, and Jeff Davis right behind him. Great defensive job by the Buccaneers, stopping that very difficult man to stop, Walter Payton.
There was a fumble there as Hugh Green, 53, got across, made contact with Payton. You might get a good look here. You'll see the ball squirt out, and I believe it squirted out before he hit the turf. We'll see.
No,
you can't see, but there, no, he was on the ground.
Yeah.
So that was the fumble was after that, and then he was trying to reach it over, but the ball had come back into his hands, but Hugh Green made the penetration. You watch those linebackers for Tampa Bay. They'll be off the line of scrimmage and shoot that gap and try and dive into the hole.
Suey in for the Bears. Diving is McMahon. Touchdown. Jim McMahon on a quarterback sneak. The Buccaneers are furious. They say that he either didn't make it or he coughed up the ball. But remember, you only have to break the plane of that goal line. And then if you cough up the ball, it's no fumble. But McMahon is credited with a touchdown.
Okay, let's watch number 9, McMahon now. Did he get across there with the ball?
Yeah, there he is.
It looks like he's across the plane there. It's
yeah, all you have to do is do what he did. He reached over with the ball. He broke the plane with the ball,
as long as his knees aren't on the ground, which they weren't at that particular time.
So Jim McMahon has closed the margin, and Kevin Butler is in for the point after. And he's got it. So we have had a wide open first half here with still 8:09 to play at Soldier Field. The Bears close the margin to 7. Tampa Bay 21, the Bears 14. And Johnny Morris at Soldier Field, where the Chicago Bears have taken the ball in from 67 yards away in 7 plays, using up 3:22 on the clock. McMahon on the quarterback sneak for the score, and it's a 21-14 ball game. Kevin Butler will kick it off for Chicago. Freeman and Bright, the deep man, and Butler nails it through the end zone. A little following wind as we saw Igwebuike knock 2 through the end zone when he kicked from that end, and the Georgia-Clemson rivalry continues. These two young men faced each other in a game last year, and Butler came out on top as his team came out on top. Igwebuike had 3 field goals in that game. 134 times out of 184 in his college career, Butler's kickoffs were not returned as he was able to kick them that deep. And these are 2 of the outstanding kickers from the NCAA. St. Louis in front of Cleveland 7-3 in the second period, and Kansas City 13-3 over New Orleans in the first quarter. And again, the crowd cheering for the Bears defense, last year's #1 to stop the Bucs, but you can't stop Wilder. Wilder nearly got down the sideline. A flag on the play, tripped up by Mike Richardson, or he might have gone the distance. A 15-yard gain for James Wilder.
This is probably going to be called back, but it was still a heck of a run by James Wilder. He broke a tackle. Otis Wilderson had him dead to rights, number 55, and you got to hit Wilder. Make sure you got a hold of him. He just bounced right up on him.
Illegal use of the hands, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It'll still be first down.
Well, that was Kevin House charged with the penalty for a downfield block that was illegal, and probably Wilder didn't need the help at that point. Had he shaken that last tackle, he would have been long gone. Well,
as a blocker downfield, whenever in doubt, and you know that your ball carrier's already got 15 or 20 yards, you're best not take a chance. He was trying to get his head to the side of Mike Richardson, but you see he hits him right in the back, and there was just really no reason to take that kind of a chance of hitting the guy from the back.
Good job by Richardson to put the stop despite that block. First down, 9 to go, and it's intercepted by Gary Fensick. Fensick to the Buccaneers 20-yard line. Gerald Carter, the intended receiver, perfectly timed pickoff. Dent and Jerry Bell are having a set to down at the 10-yard line. And flags are thrown down there as things getting a little physical here. Richard Dent, that's Otis Wilson, 55, but it was Dent who got into it. What a nice interception. The 10th by Fensick against the Buccaneers in his career.
And I don't think DeBerg even saw him as he saw Carter coming across the field. Fensick there just as a safety there, just stood in there, watched the quarterback, and stole the ball, and they're going to rule it down right there that there was contact by Carter so that Fensick could not get up and run down the field. Now there's a penalty.
Illegal motion on Tampa Bay. That penalty is automatically refused. I have a personal foul, unnecessary roughness after the interception. Will penalize Chicago 15 yards, and it'll be their ball, first and 10.
Well, you saw where Fensick was down, as you said, Johnny, at the 36 would have been the line of scrimmage, not at the 20 where he had run the ball to. Now from that point, they're assessed 15 yards for unnecessary roughness. They didn't...
Otis Wilson was involved in the situation.
Yeah, I think it was Richard Dent, frankly. It was Dent and Jerry Bell who were having at each other, and then Wilson came and got into the argument afterwards. But they did not finger the culprit there. But nonetheless, the Bears have the football. And a first down at their own 49-yard line. In motion goes Calvin Thomas. Play action. McMahon is sacked. What a tackle by John Cannon. Number 78. A diving tackle of Jim McMahon. And a loss back inside the 40-yard line of Chicago.
And you talk about a big play as Cannon's number 78. Now watch him come across the line of scrimmage. So it gets over Mark Bortz behind Bortz 62, makes the dive, and McMahon is not able to get out of the pocket. The Buccaneers, of course, noted for their 3-4 defense. They'll go into a 4-man line sometimes in the third down situation, but I noticed they were doubling the wideouts that time, so I don't think you're going to see Willie Gault and Dennis McKinnon on one-on-one situations too much anymore.
Second and 20, a 10-yard loss on the play. 2 sacks by Tampa, last year's leaders. The Bears have run so far. And McMahon just simply took off and picked up the 10 yards that have been lost.
I think McMahon faked out his own team on that. I don't believe it was planned. If it was what you call a real naked reverse with the quarterback.
Hugh Green forced him out of bounds.
He wanted to get over to the sideline so he could talk with Mike Dichter about the next play. That was the reason he called that. He wasn't sure what he was supposed to call. The Bears signal in their plays, as you saw Kenny Marjoram coming in with Jim McMahon. In fact, both teams signal in their plays. Mike Ditka is calling the Bear plays today. Lehman Bennett is not calling the Bear plays, the Buck plays for Tampa Bay. Jimmy Ray does that job.
Carl Morgan has come in with Ron Holmes to make a 4-man front on third down. And 9 for the Bears out of the shotgun. McMahon sails it up deep, and it is intercepted inside the 5-yard line, intended for Ken Marjoram, picked off by Jeremiah Castile. Now, McMahon just aired that out, and Castile was step for step with Marjoram, and Castile comes up with a big interception as the Buccaneers get the ball back the same way the Bears are taking it away.
Once again, McMahon has the chance, the time to throw the ball, and he throws it to the spot. It was a well-thrown pass. The difference was that Castile was running right with Marjoram, and he was also there, too. So you give the credit where credit is due, and that's the defensive back who made the interception. McMahon, aside from having an interception, gets a little bit of a smash, and I believe that was Cannon who put the hit on there after he threw the ball. And there's Jeremiah Castile, number 23, who has shown rapid improvement for Tampa Bay. He's a good one.
Third-year draft in 1983, and he has developed very nicely into an NFL quality cornerback. So Tampa Bay starts deep in their own end from the 4-yard line. Steve DeBerg, 7 and 9, 3 touchdown passes, 1 interception. Wilder, the workhorse, dives over the 5-yard line to about the 7. Mike Singletary up into them there, number 50 for the Bears. They'll spot it close to the 8-yard line.
The Bears were in their 46 defense, and it seems that every time they get into it, Tampa Bay has run towards the side where the linebackers are, where they move 58 Marshall up there inside of 55 Otis Wilson. It's kind of, everybody calls it a crazy defense, but it seems that the Bucs are running straight at it when they see the 46 defense. It's named 46 for a former Bear, Doug Plank, who used to be a defensive back with the Bears. Now you can see
Wilder was 62 yards and a busted play. DeBerg gets just back to the line of scrimmage. Some more pushing and shoving going on down there. The heat, I think, is starting to addle some brains down there, or fry them or something. But the guys are really getting at each other. And that was Steve McMichael with Otis Wilson putting the stop on DeBerg, but a busted play by the Buccaneers. And talking with DeBerg yesterday, he and both his coach Lehman Bennett said there would be a number of audibles because of that difficult, complex Bears defense. It would require DeBerg to come up and check things out and audible frequently. And that might have been the case there. Not everybody picked it up. DeBerg wound up having to get it back to the line of scrimmage. So it's 3rd and 7.
46 again.
Flag down. Flare pass for Wilder. Pushed out by Singletary. And Wilbur Marshall and Giles going at each other again.
Otis Wilson looked like he got across the line of scrimmage a little too soon. Now, whether he was pulled up, I don't know. He was the one that moved first, if that's the call.
Gene Barth signals offside against the Bears. The yardage will not give them a first down, however.
So I'm sure they'll take the penalty and have a more reasonable 3rd down situation.
Defense, number 57 offside, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So it'll be 3rd and about 2.
There's Otis Wilson arguing that you shouldn't have called me, or I wasn't offside, one or the other.
Coming up at halftime, and that's 5:01 away on our clock.
Here comes the refrigerator man.
The NFL Today with Brent Irv and Jack Youngblood, special guest today, scores and highlights, and they'll include a U.S. Open preview of the singles final between McEnroe and Lendl. And there is Jim Perry, number 72. The refrigerator, as Johnny Morris just referred to him, his college nickname at Clemson, number 72 on the short yardage. The pitch out, and the Bears bury him. Back at the 13-yard line, Dan Hampton dropped Wilder for a loss. Otis Wilson was there, along with Hampton. Wilder has now carried 10 times in this first half.
There's William Perry, number 72, 330 pounds of romping and stomping dynamite. He's going to be playing on short yardage situation. The Buccaneers could use a good punt here.
From the end zone, Frank Garcia. With Ken Taylor, the rookie, waiting for it at the Bears 48. High punt. Fair catch signaled by Taylor at the 48-yard line of the Chicago Bears. A 40-yard punt. 4:12 remaining in the first half. Tampa 21, the Bears 14. On that turf, of course, over 100, and we've seen a lot of substitutions. Certainly the most surprising thing about this game, the offense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even though they were 10th last year, seems to me to be a lot more confident-looking offense.
Well, I think Lehman Bennett's done a great job. When you stop to think of putting in a new offense, you know, and new ways of calling plays, you usually expect some rough spots for the first few games. They look good. They have really confused the Bears on defense.
Steve DeBerg said yesterday when we chatted to him that he didn't want to have to compete with a ghost again. He had to do that with Joe Montana at San Francisco, with John Elway at Denver, and now the specter of Steve Young looms behind him. He said, I could just go out there and play my game without thinking about anybody else. Today, so far, Steve DeBerg is doing all that anybody could expect of a quarterback. He has his team in front 21-14 with 3 touchdown passes. And there is Steve DeBerg. And he knows full well that his Tampa Bay team is trying to sign Steve Young and get him in the uniform. All right, the Bears first down, complete to Moorhead. Moorhead inside the 30-yard line, and a first down for the Bears. Ivory Sully making the tackle at the 28-yard line of Tampa Bay. They will spot the ball, a 23-yard gain.
And this time the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were a little late on their coverage. You see Moorhead, the tight end, just running an angle towards the sideline. The wide receiver cut inside, and Sully was over late to be on the coverage, and it was a one-on-one situation as Emery Moorhead took it down the sidelines, and the Bears are in striking distance once again. So the pressure has switched on now to Tampa Bay's defense.
Craig Curry has come in to replace Ivory Sully on first down at the Tampa Bay 22. They fake the pitch out, and Matt Suhey back in the game has his first carry since running into Hugh Green back in the first period. And Suhey picks up 5. Green again putting the tackle on him. I'm sure Matt would have been happier to look up and see another number other than 53.
Now McMahon, you can see there, number 9, just took the signals from Steve Fuller, the Bears' backup quarterback. And that helps any team, both Tampa Bay and Chicago, get to the line of scrimmage a little sooner and gives a quarterback more chance to call audibles time to do something. Doesn't have to worry about that 30-second clock as much.
That was generous on the 5-yard gain. It's 3 for Matt Suhey, 2nd and 7. McMahon gets time and intended for McKinnon. Good defensive coverage by John Holt, number 21, the 5-year man from West Texas State. It'll be 3rd down.
The coverage to Holt.
Well, Detroit and Atlanta are now tied up at 14 apiece in the second period. And next week, the Lions, one of the competitors in the Central Division against the Bears and the Buccaneers, will be at home against the Dallas Cowboys. Doubleheader action on CBS. And you will see one of these games, depending on what area you're in, opening our doubleheader. Minnesota, Tampa Bay, the Giants at Green Bay, Atlanta at San Francisco. Check the local listings for the game in your area. 3rd down play. 5 defensive backs in on the passing down. McMahon has lots of time, but it's tipped, intended for McKinnon. And it might have been Ron Holmes, the rookie, who got a hand on that, number 90.
The Bears had a free play there because it looked like somebody jumped off for Tampa Bay.
A flag down, you're right.
Number
Holmes.
90 defense, offside, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Well, that was Holmes, the rookie from Washington. And he's not really 100% ready to go. He's been bothered with an Achilles injury during the preseason. The man they had hoped could replace Leroy Selman, who's gone at least for the year with a back injury. And they're hoping this #1 choice could perhaps become another Leroy Selman. That's hardly possible, I guess, but Holmes, a very highly regarded rookie. Two tight ends in for the Bears, Moorhead and Reitman, and then they send in Andy Frederick as a blocking tight end. 3rd and 2 on the short yardage situation. And the give is to Suey, and Suey is stopped at the line of scrimmage. They'll be well short, at least a yard, but with one more down to go. Good job by the Bucs, and it was Ron Holmes, number 90, who piled up the traffic. Young man we were just talking about, 6'4", 255-pounder.
Now you can see the official wheeling his arm as Mike Ditka sends in the field goal team. The play has already begun. They're already down to only 17 seconds, and that's one way they're trying to speed up the action in a football game.
Kevin Butler will have the ball spotted at the 28-yard line for a 38-yard attempt. Steve Fuller will hold. Butler's first field goal attempt as a Chicago Bear, and he has it. A 38-yard field goal for Kevin Butler, the man who sent the popular Bob Thomas away from the Bears after a 10-year career with Chicago. And he has reduced the margin, as with 2:35 remaining in the first half of play at Soldier Field. The score is now Tampa Bay 21 on the Bears 17. And both teams offensively have been able to move the ball almost at will. Defensively, the surprise has to be the Chicago Bears, unless you say, well, the #1 defense doesn't have Al Harris and Todd Bell. Maybe they've lost more than their coaching staff thought they would, although Buddy Ryan particularly would like to have those two guys back, not to say Mike Ditka wouldn't. But Ditka talked confidently about the replacements yesterday.
Yes, he did. He feels that the defense is just as strong with the 2 replacements. You have to wonder, because they were such good football players, and to mesh in 2 more football players, it's obviously weakened the defense. But I think you got to give credit to the Tampa Bay offense and what Lehman Bennett has done, and the game that DeBerg has had. His statistics are really great, and they have actually tricked and fooled the Bear defense quite a bit. They have, and when they've run with Wilder, they've blocked well on the offensive line. I just think the assimilation of Lehman Bennett's offense has been excellent. Got to give Jimmy Ray some credit. He calls the plays and then move the ball up and down the field. So we still have a half to go. This is quite a football game. More than a half.
Lots of scoring with 2:35 still to play first half. Butler's kickoff will come down at the 1-yard line, taken by Phil Freeman. And Freeman this time is stopped at the 22. On his last sortie upfield, he went 57 yards, the longest kickoff return in Tampa Bay history. And then they struck on that 44-yard bomb to Kevin House immediately following Freeman's return. This time a 21-yard return, and Cliff Thrift, a new linebacker for the Chicago Bears, acquired from the San Diego Chargers, made the tackle on the play. A 7-year veteran acquired on waivers, and Mike Ditka and Buddy Ryan are very happy with his play in the preseason. First down, Tampa Bay from their 21. They give it to Wilder. He's got a big hole. Wilder running away from people. Dewerson, Fensick finally combined to stop him, but another first down for Tampa Bay at the 45-yard line. A 22-yard pickup for James Wilder.
And you talk about the quick moves for a man who weighs 225 pounds. Watch the move, and there's the block by Grimes on Mike Singletary. He just buried Singletary 60 on 50, and then it was Wilder down the field. Finally, Frazier traps him off, and Dewerson and Fensick and everybody else comes in on the tackle. But he got a great block from the center, Randy Grimes, on Mike Singletary to take him out of the play, and it was Wilder's quick move back for the big man that made the difference.
We've reached the 2-minute warning here in the first half of play at Soldier Field. The Buccaneers. Morris, and there's Lehman Bennett on the sidelines, his offensive coordinator on the right of your screen. The white visor is Jimmy Ray.
He says this beats the heck out of selling motorhomes, huh?
Well, he said, you know, I missed it and I didn't. You know, you're away from something and you make a choice. He was still being paid by Atlanta, and he kind of enjoyed learning about the business world. But he said, I'm real happy to be back, and it felt like I was never really away. This is Wilder on first down. Wilder plows for about 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6, and Wilder has carried 12 times already for 87 yards. Marshall and Singletary on the tackle.
Now you can see DeBerg is calling the plays a hurry-up offense, and that's one thing that Lehman Bennett has asked of his quarterbacks. They call a lot more of the play. We'll get into that in a moment.
Second down, a long 5. And the pass out to Jerry Bell. And a flag on the play. Apparently, whether Bell was roughed out of bounds or not, we'll wait and see. Mike Ditka not too happy about that call. It looked like he was stopped just short of the first down on the pass. Mike Ditka.
Personal foul, late hit out of bounds, number 58 defense.
Well, that's Wilbur Marshall, number 58. Call made by Jerry Austin, the side judge, number 34.
I think what Marshall is saying is that he wasn't sure if he was out of bounds. Marshall is 58, and he kept running there. I would say he could be able to tell that he was out of bounds, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think so. I think you've got an excited young rookie here trying to replace Al Harris. He's been very aggressive the entire first half and has made some good plays, but has been involved in a couple of these little scuffles and infractions.
That's a big penalty.
Yes, it is. First down, Tampa Bay at the 32-yard line.
Blitz.
Draw play. Wilder shakes another tackle, and he's got running room. Wilder all the way down to the 15-yard line. They simply cannot stop this man today. Pentic and Frazier put the tackle on him finally, but the Buccaneers are first down at the 15.
Tampa Bay's first timeout.
And you talk about a great play. That time the Bears, boys, he dressed well. Boy, he knows how to buy the right clothes, I'll tell you that.
Kansas City in front of New Orleans 23-3. In fact, James Wilder has been hired as a model. 21-10, Seattle over Cincinnati at halftime. Seahawks favored by many to make it to the Super Bowl. Miami in front of Houston 13-9. Dan Marino, we're told, was hurt earlier in that game. We have no updated report. On first down, DeBerg, incomplete. Flag down. Gerald Carter, the intended receiver. An apparent interference call coming up against the Bears. The ball was there. Carter had it briefly, could not hold on.
Interference, 27 defense, first down.
And Richardson is called for interference, number 27.
This is one of these cases where the isolated replay will tell the official whether he made a right call or not, possibly, because did he make contact before the ball got there? Well, it's really tough to tell there. It appears that it was a bang-bang play, and it's a judgment official. He was right there.
So it is first and goal for Tampa Bay at the Chicago 2-yard line. Perry is in defensively. Wilder pulls his way in for a touchdown. James Wilder. 3 Bears hit him, but they could not stop him short of the line. Dewerson was there. The linebacker Otis Wilson and Mike Hardenstein, but they could not keep him out of the end zone.
This was a case of the Chicago Bears having it defense, but it was a question of stopping James Wilder because there were 4 hits right there, 2, 3. Here comes the 4th hit right there by Dent, and Wilder still bulled his way into the end zone. That's determination.
So quickly again, Tampa Bay, with a couple of big plays, gets themselves into the end zone. And the point after try by Igwe Bigwe, and it is now suddenly a 28-17 ball game with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers rolling offensively, taking advantage of opportunities, making the big plays, and opening the lead to 28-17 with 1:09 to play in the first half. 78 yards, 6 plays is all it took. They used up 117 in their 2-minute drill to get into the end zone. Wilder now 105 yards on 14 carries and a touchdown.
As you look at the scoring drive, they're worried about the fans here. They've set up several medical places for people sitting in the stands in the sun in case they start feeling faint. So it's very hot.
Well, we see a lot of Bear top men in the stands too on this hot day, and officially on our CBS official thermometer, it is officially about 92 degrees, and that's down near the Bears bench. A bouncing kickoff by Igwe Bigwe, taken by Dennis Gentry, gets over the 30-yard line to the 31 and takes a hard knock there and will get no farther. And the Bears with 103 will have a 103 drill from their 31-yard line. It was Mike Pryor, a local product, playing for Tampa Bay, rookie from Illinois State. Their number 4 pick this year made the tackle.
He's from Chicago Heights in the Chicago area. Was also a great baseball player. He's drafted by the Dodgers.
Pryor, they think very highly of. Their number 4 choice right now, playing behind David Greenwood at strong safety, but they think he's a real good prospect. McMahon, 10 of 16. He's doing his job, 155 yards and a touchdown.
Tampa Bay's doubling both wide receivers.
Holmes, as they set up the screen, had the rush on McMahon. They got it to Payton, and again, good defense by the Buccaneers. They read it, they were there, and they held him to a gain of maybe a yard. Logan and Cannon, and they have been superb in this first half. The Bears call their first timeout, as the referee also corrects it. Gene Barth, 49 seconds on the clock. They wouldn't let Payton get out of bounds over there. The Bears line, just to finish off about McMahon.
Logan is a nose guard who will get sacks. He has 30.5, and you know he's going to be double teamed. He's 76 over the middle. Now he's double teamed. There's Kurt Becker. They do a little crisscross. Payton tries to get out of the backfield, ends up actually with only one man blocking on him, Kurt Becker, and gets around it and brings McMahon down. So he has 31.5 sacks. And you know, for a nose guard in a 3-4 defense, as you know, Tim, you know, he's just supposed to jam things up. He's not supposed to get sacks. He's not supposed to be at the sideline so much, but he gets all over the place and is really one of the more active nose guards in the NFL. And a nose guard in a 3-4 defense usually gets no credit, no publicity. He's earned his.
Well, we asked young Chris Lindstrom, who was going to start alongside and did start alongside him today, you know, what it was like to have Logan next to him, and he said, oh boy, it makes me feel a lot better. He said he's so experienced and so helpful, and he does give you that quickness. He's not just piling people up. You know that he's going to be making the rush with you as well. That's Don Fielder, number 65, a first-year man from Kentucky, also out of the USFL. And he's had a fair amount of time here in this first half, as they've used all of their defensive linemen because of the heat.
That's right.
So it's 3rd and very long with 6 seconds left. Calvin Thomas and Dennis Gentry are in the running back spots, and McMahon is going to try to get it downfield. Sideline is complete. No, out of bounds, they're saying. Hugh Green had coverage on Willie Galt.
They're saying complete, but out of bounds after he... Oh, are they going to take it back? No, they're giving him the completion.
Well, I'm sure I saw the official, number 37, rule him, show him out of bounds, Earl Toller.
You know what? I think
last time out. Their 3rd and last time out.
I think they're going to go for a field goal.
Well, they did give him the completion for sure. And Kevin Butler is apparently going to get a field goal try. And Butler will be making his first long one for the Chicago Bears.
He made one of 60 yards last year and missed one of 71 yards while he was in college.
Yeah.
Missed it, just barely missed it, they said, by about a foot. So he does have the ability, and he has the wind behind him, because the wind is coming from south to north, and it would be what would it be, about 62 yards? It would be around 60, 61 yards here, so he's capable of it if he hits it right.
At Clemson, he was 10 of 17 between 50 and 60 yards. That's pretty impressive. They're going to spot it at the 46-yard line.
It'll be about a 63.5-yard field goal if he makes it.
Well, let's see what the rookie can do. He prepares himself by what he calls imagery, imagining himself making these kinds of kicks. And that's going to be well short. Well short. Comes down in the end zone, and Kevin Butler appeared to have hurt his hand somehow on the play. Well, the first half comes to a close. I didn't see what happened. Butler was watching the flight of the ball. And he apparently, how does a kicker hurt his right hand? I'm not sure. But nonetheless, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been the story of this first half, defensively and offensively. And Lehman Bennett's got to feel very, very good about how his team came out here prepared to play the opening game of the season. And he takes into the locker room this lead. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers 28, the Chicago Bears 17. Well, it might be a pleasant day out on Lake Michigan, but it is sweltering at Soldier Field in Chicago. And yet by the score here, 28-17, despite the temperatures in the 90s down at the field level and even higher on the carpet itself, The teams, obviously, judging by that score, are having some fun out there because they've rolled up what could be a final score, and they've only played half the game. Certainly, Tampa Bay, Johnny Morris, has got to be given terrific credit for coming off an ordinary preseason, but that really doesn't mean so much. It's just being so well prepared, it seems to me, by Lehman Bennett in his first year as head coach to come out here and manhandle the Bears in the first half.
Well, not only have they fooled the Bears on a couple of plays, they have run the ball consistently against the Chicago Bears' tough defensive line. You know, James Wilder has, what does he have, 105 yards and 14 carries. That's 7.5 yards per carry. That's not bad.
He has just been unstoppable, but even though Tampa Bay took the first lead in the game with a touchdown, the Bears showed their pass attack from Jim McMahon with a beautiful pass to Dennis McKinnon and got themselves right back into a tie.
Yes, as he rolled out, he was under pressure from Holmes, number 90, but had to throw back across his chest back towards the middle of the field and threaded the needle to Dennis McKinnon, and it appears the Bears might be on a roll, but things turned out to go much better for Tampa Bay after this.
Well, because right after the kickoff, rookie Phil Freeman ran it 57 yards back, their longest kickoff return ever, and it set up this bomb.
Which is DeBerg's longest touchdown pass as a Buck, too, as he hit Kevin House perfectly, who beat Mike Richardson for the touchdown. And I think at this point you knew that Tampa Bay was came here to play some football today.
It sure did. That gave him a 14-7 lead. And then they got a little help here because the punt by Frank Garcia was let go as it should have been. He was standing at the 11-yard line, rookie Ken Taylor, and he thought it would bounce into the end zone. But watch the ball come back. An unusual hop. And Taylor turned around to see the ball, but not soon enough. It bounced off his chest, recovered by Ivory Sully, the ex-Ram. He ran it into the end zone. Of course, you cannot advance the muff punt return, but it set them up for another touchdown. DeBerg, his second touchdown pass, it went to Jerry Bell, and they led at that point 21-7, and they stand 28-17. And I think defensively, the Buccaneers, well, the Bears have better stats. Overall yardage, 239 net yards. Despite the fact they've rolled up more yardage, the Bucs have stopped them when they've had to, and that's been most impressive. So we're ready to play football for the second half, and it'll be the Chicago Bears kicking it off. It'll be Kevin Butler, and the Buccaneers defending to our left. And the Buccaneers get it out to the 25-yard line. Leon Bright, number 29, played in the Canadian Football League and then with the New York Giants and turned up with the Bucs as a free agent in 1984 and one of the real good kick and punt returners. So as we were saying at halftime there, our stats are slightly different than what we gave you. 234 yards of total offense for the Chicago Bears, but they trail on the scoreboard as the Buccaneers have been able to stop them in several of the big situations.
And DeBerg is throwing 8 for 10. That's 80%. That's not bad. McMahon is 13 of 21, so both quarterbacks have pretty good statistics. Now the Bears go into their 46th defense now.
And that defense doesn't look like the league's number one, at least in the first half. First down, DeBerg finds the open man, Carter. Sideline pass, Richardson on the coverage. Pickup of 5, maybe 6 yards. DeBerg with 3 touchdown passes in the first half, 1 interception. Each team had an interception. Fensick for the Bears, Castile for the Buccaneers. That was on a long bomb, a well-thrown ball by Jim McMahon, but Castile had real good coverage on Ken Marjoram.
We were talking with Lehman Bennett yesterday, and he admits that he's put a lot of stress on his quarterbacks. DeBerg has to call, when he calls a pass play, he has to call every individual pattern, not a name pattern that signals everybody what to do. He calls each one individually, so he has got to call an awful lot.
Now, we wrote down an example of that, which we'll give you here on the next play if we can. Short drop, the ball is tipped, intercepted. Mike Richardson. I think it's Frazier, Leslie Frazier, 21. Richard Dent got a hand on the ball, and Leslie Frazier alertly picked it off and took it into the end zone. A 29-yard touchdown. And the Bears strike quickly here in the second half.
I'm sure this was an audible call against that 46. Watch Dent. He's number 95. He bats the ball, and Frazier takes it in for the easy touchdown. However, I think he would have intercepted had the ball not been tapped, because he had decided he was going to come forward and take a chance that it was going to be the quick hitch pass. Leslie Frazier, who's been hobbled by a sore thigh, comes through for the Bears, and you talk about a quick turnaround. That's it right there.
So Butler in for the point after. And he has it. So the happy Bears fans celebrate that sudden score here in the second half as they've reduced the margin to 4 again. Leslie Frazier picking off the DeBerg pass tipped by Richard Dent. And it's now Tampa Bay 28 and Chicago 24. So the Bears will kick it off. We talked about the fact that was probably an audible, Johnny. You mentioned that. And you had talked about how DeBerg has all the responsibility. Let me just give you an example here. Last year, Steve DeBerg would call a play that might have been called 82 hot. That sounds pretty simple. This year, the same play, 82 hot, in the huddle, he would have to say the following: storm, set short, 404, flat, wide. You've got to be an English major and a computer scientist to be the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, as you pointed out, he's really talking to the 5 receivers. He's establishing first the protection they're going to use, then the drop, which is set short. The 5 receivers' instructions where they're going, that's 4-0-4, flat and wide, the last one being his running back Wilder. So he's really telling everybody on the team their individual assignments. Now, I guess the theory, at least your theory about the theory, was that it's easier for one man to know everything. Butler nails that all the way through the end zone. And Tampa Bay will start again from the 20-yard line. And there is Kevin Butler, who attempted the long field goal at the end of the half and fell short. This one he really boomed.
Well, Ditka is talking with him, but I don't think he has got to be unhappy with him, because the reason he kept Butler over Bob Thomas was the fact that he can put that ball in the end zone, and he feels that his accuracy record in college is good enough to make him a good pro. And so far, he has proven that, except for that long one, which you can't expect anybody to make, except maybe the man up above.
So Steve DeBerg brings him out again. First and 10 from the 20-yard line of Tampa Bay. They lead by 4, 28-24. Jerry Bell sets up on the right side as a tight end, and there's early action before the snap. Jimmy Giles and Richard Dent. We'll see how the officials rule it.
I think it appears that Jimmy Giles came across too soon and made contact, so it'll go against Tampa Bay.
88 offense, offside, made contact before the snap. 5-yard penalty, no first down.
This has got to be the key turning point in this football game, is what the Tampa Bay offense does in this series. If they can come up with a successful drive, move down the field, and get on the board, it will somewhat counter that momentum the Bears got with the interception. However, if they don't move it this time, it looks like a momentum swing to me.
It'll be interesting to see what defensive adjustments, if any, were made by Buddy Ryan of the Bears at halftime. Draw play, barreling out to the 25-yard line, James Wilder. And Wilbur Marshall made the initial contact. Otis Wilson got over there to get in on it. Wilson limping around a little bit. He's been bothered with a sore ankle and a bruised knee. James Wilder, 120 yards, 15 carries. His 8th 100-yard game as a Buccaneer, and he had those 100 yards in the first half.
My mathematics say that's 8 yards per carry.
Second down and 5. Wilder again takes it to the right side. Nice tackle on him by Gary Fensick. And then Wilson came down on top of him, and Wilder is hurt. The Iron Man is getting up slowly. Well, apparently he's all right. I think it was the weight of Otis Wilson on top of him. Fensick made the tackle that they say you should make on those big, powerful, high-running guys like Wilder, and that's to get him around the ankles, because otherwise he'll run over you.
They hit him low. It's almost like a block. It's like a cut block, as Wilder does a good job of cutting back. Marshall's tangled up inside. Here comes 45, and he hit him right on the thigh. And then comes Otis Wilson over the top, number 55. So I don't know which. I would have to imagine that it was Fensick's hit that might have shaken him up a little bit. Didn't appear that Wilson hit him that. Now here is a key play, third and about, what, an inch or two?
Third and very short, about the length of a football. They've got the refrigerator in there, number 72. William Anthony Perry, their number 1 pick from Clemson. They stack up the middle of that line, 325 pounds. Well, the stack was there, and how you sort that one out will be interesting. It appears to me that DeBerg did not get over the 30-yard line, which he would need to get to. But we'll let the officials spot it.
He looks to be a little bit short.
Well, the refrigerator was there, but I think Dan Hampton was at the bottom of the pile, number 99.
Okay, Lehman Bennett on the spot here for the first time. If they do not make it, the obvious call was to punt away, but he knows about a momentum situation. He'd like to keep the ball if he possibly could.
Well, they brought the chains out, and now looks like they're waving them back as though it's not required. It'll be 4th down and inches, or about an inch. Otis Wilson is being assisted off the field. He was in the middle of that last pile up, and it looks like they're checking his nose and mouth. He might have taken a little shot in the face, and he's already, as we mentioned, got a sore ankle and a bad knee.
They're going to punt.
So it is 4th down, and they will not go. Frank Garcia, standing at his 15-yard line, will be the punter. And the rookie Ken Taylor will wait for it. There's Otis Wilson. Looks like he got a little shot in the head on that pile-up, stopping Steve DeBerg. Garcia, one of the best punters in the league, waiting at the 15-yard line. And there'll be a delay penalty against Tampa Bay. Used up more than the allowed 30 seconds. Calvin McGee, the rookie from Southern, who caught a touchdown pass in the first period, is the punt snapper. Just became the official punt snapper this week for Tampa Bay, replacing Ken Kaplan in that role.
He's putting against about a 10-mile-an-hour wind.
And it's a good one. He backs up Taylor to the 28 of Chicago. And Taylor gets away from one tackler and then is hauled down with a high tackle at the 40-yard line of Chicago by Mark Woody, reserve tight end number 85. So the Bears will have pretty good field position from their 40. When we return, they trail by 4. And with Johnny Morris, the Buccaneers lead by 4 at Chicago ball, and you see number 32 awaiting the next offensive series, awaiting it in pain. His left shoulder on the last carry, his 16th of the game. Wilson and Fensick put the stop on him, but it was more likely, I would think, the fall onto the turf from the tackle, the ankle grab by Fensick, his own body weight. He has 120 yards on 16 carries. Chicago ball from their own 40-yard line. McKinnon in motion. McMahon out to Payton. Payton nearly slipped, retained his balance, and winds up with 5 to the 45-yard line. Tripped up by Castile, number 23. Somebody else popped on top of him, I believe, Hugh Green, and the crowd got on Green for that. But Green immediately went to Payton and said, hey, I can't read his lips from up here, but it looked like he was saying sorry. They're good friends. We talked to Hugh Green yesterday, and they appreciate each other's ability in this game from opposite sides of the field. And Hugh Green has played in the Pro Bowl with Walter Payton and said they've gone out to dinner together and so on, and he knows full well that they're both going to be extremely tough competitors against each other in this game. Second and a long 5. Payton again. Payton dances through tacklers and has a first down to the 45-yard line of Tampa Bay. Word on James Wilder is that he is planning on coming back into the game. Green and Chris Washington combined on the tackle. Washington 51, Green 53. And there you see Wilder on the sideline. The ball spotted at the 46-yard line of Tampa Bay. The Bears trail by 4, and they are on the march. Payton now has 54 yards on 9 carries. Play action. McMahon with time. Flares it off to Payton. Payton over the 40. Well played by David Greenwood, the newcomer from the USFL and the University of Wisconsin. Johnny, we speculated about Greenwood having been moved to strong safety late in the week, having had only 1 week of practice. Ivory Sully moving over to the weak safety, the free safety, and the fact that there may be some confusion. I think we saw maybe twice in the first half that occurred. On the other hand, it doesn't seem to me that the Bears have really been attacking that as a possible weakness in the Buccaneers secondary.
The last time McKinnon was running wide open across the field, and he threw to Payton. We're going to see him hit McKinnon pretty quick, I think.
2nd and 4, Chicago at the Tampa Bay 40-yard line. Payton takes it outside and trying to drive for the first down. Got about 3.5 yards, but is short of the first down. Chris Washington, the second-year linebacker from Iowa State, has beat out Keith Browner in the battle for that spot. Made the tackle on Payton, and we see that St. Louis in front of Cleveland 10-3. The Cardinals, one of the top teams in the NFC East. Pittsburgh really doing a number on Indianapolis, 31-3. Pittsburgh struggled with their offense in the preseason. Detroit and Atlanta are now tied at 21 all. Lions are not too highly regarded. Surprising today, they'll be at home against the Dallas Cowboys. An early season tough test for them. Part of our doubleheader action next week at 12:30 Eastern Time. 3rd and a yard, a flag down. Suey has the first down for Chicago to the 32 of Tampa Bay. Flags everywhere.
Payton was off the field on that play.
Defense, nose guard, offside. 5-yard penalty, first down.
David Logan, number 76, called for the offside, and so they have the first down anyway.
They're working on Payton on the sidelines. It might be a little bit of heat frustration because you know Payton wouldn't have been off the field on that situation unless he had to. The trainer, Freddie Cato's talking to him.
Dennis Gentry is in to replace him, number 29. Jim Covert has come out and has some relief from Andy Frederick at left tackle. Frederick, number 71. Moorhead in motion. McMahon away from traffic, and that one too high for Willie Galt. McMahon just out there practicing the motion that he wanted to throw over to the sideline. Was off the market. That looked like a tennis player after he's knocked a ball long and then makes the stroke, saying, now if I had just turned it over a little bit. And McMahon just sailed that a little.
You know, Tampa Bay hasn't won on the road in 11 games. They have not been a good road team the last couple of years.
They came in here today like they love it on the road, and they're still in front by 4. 8:56 remaining, 3rd quarter. The Bears on the march in Tampa Bay territory, 2nd and 10 at the 31. They give us to Dennis Gentry. He's got blockers, takes it upfield, and gets only a couple good defensive work. Number 90, the rookie Ron Holmes. They have high hopes for this young man from Washington, and he made the play on Dennis Gentry. Payton comes back in for Gentry.
So I think he just needed a little breather, wanted to get a little oxygen and make sure that he was breathing correctly, because it is really hot down there. The only thing that's saving him has got to be a little bit of the wind. Payton is 10 for 59. Last year gained 1,644 yards. Unbelievable durability. Has not missed a game since his rookie season. This is his 11th year.
Extra down lineman in for Tampa Bay, Carl Morgan, number 67. The nickelback is Paul Dombrowski, the newcomer from the New England Patriots. They take the draw, and they have a man open, incomplete to Willie Galt. And the rush on McMahon, he was able to elude it, but he did have to unload the ball quickly. Intended for Galt, incomplete. So it is 4th down, and the Buccaneers have held.
So it's going to be Butler's turn again. What did you say his stats were? From 40 to 50 yards, 10 of...
In college, he was 10 of 17 from 50 to 60 yards. And today, he missed the 63-yarder, was well short on it. They had a little problem with the hold on that one with Fuller, too, on the long one at near halftime. This one is from the 36-yard line, a 46-yard attempt by Butler, and it is wide to the right. Wide to the right. So Butler, the rookie, is 1 for 3 today, having connected from 38 yards away, and the Buccaneers have stopped the Bears without a point, and they lead by 4. Morris, and we see the Bears down there gathered around the air conditioner, the offensive team awaiting their next chance at the ball, and Tampa Bay, meanwhile, sends Wilder back up the left side. Wilder with only Frazier to beat, and Frazier put the tackle on him, but Wilder grinds out another 10-yarder.
Did you notice there he switched to his right shoulder to make contact? He avoided making contact with his left shoulder as Frazier came up for the tackle. So obviously he's hurting, but he ran pretty well. Off the counter, they get the guards out in front now. You'll watch him just instead of dipping down here with his left shoulder, he goes with the right shoulder to make sure that he doesn't hit that left shoulder. So he's obviously hampered a little bit.
131 yards, but as James would probably say, I don't run with my shoulder. Rolled up another 11-yarder. First down, Tampa Bay at their 39-yard line. Play action again. DeBerg under pressure, gets away, and then it's dropped. Wilson led the charge, but Dent got his man. Last year's sack leader. Reaching out, hauled down DeBerg way back at the 25-yard line of Tampa Bay.
Richard Dent is playing with a slight hamstring pull. Otis Wilson is 55. He'll come from this side. Dent will come from the right side of your screen, and DeBerg has no chance. They were both on him from both angles, and DeBerg is not the quickest of all quarterbacks anyway, and Dent has good speed, good range. But he's playing with a kind of a hamstring pull. Also, he's playing because he's unhappy with his contract, and he wants an extension to be ironed out before he plays too much longer.
Well, they've got a few guys nicked along that defensive line. Hampton recovering from knee surgery. McMichael a little bit hurt. DeBerg complete to Jerry Bell. Gets back to the 35-yard line. Will still leave 15 yards to go for a first down. Dave Duerson had the coverage. A flag down back where DeBerg released the ball. They may have a hold against the Buccaneers. They're going to bring the ball back. See what Gene Barth, the referee, has to say about this one.
Holding. 69 offense, 10-yard.
That was Yarno. He was blocking on Richard Dent. I saw the block. It didn't look like he was holding, but it looked like he wheeled him out well.
George Yarno from Washington State had been with the Bucs as a free agent in 1979, played several years for them, then jumped to the USFL and came back this year and wound up as a starter. So at a 2nd and 33, the first sack of the game, Richard Dent's first of the year. Wilder with Dan Hampton riding herd on him, got to the 20-yard line for a gain of about 5. Singletary helping out Dan Hampton. So it'll be 3rd down and 28 yards to go for a first down. DeBerg 10 of 13.
The Bears go into the nickel. Sean Gale comes in, and it appears that the Bears are starting to show some of that swarming defense that they're noted for. Nickel defense.
Well, the Bucs have been in this 3rd down situation 4 times, converted once. They got a long one this time. They need 28 yards. DeBerg up the middle for Jerry Bell, incomplete. The pass was off the mark, and Fensick got more of it than Jerry Bell did. So the Bears defense starting to look a little bit more like last year's, as they had a sack and they made the pass defense plays, and these Bear fans love defense.
You wouldn't think they'd have the energy to yell so loud with all this 100 degrees out there.
There's Ken Taylor, the rookie, awaiting the punt from Frank Garcia, and he's standing at the Bear 45-yard line. Jerry Bell being assisted from the field. He was a little slow to get up as he dove for that pass behind him. Smacked himself onto that hard artificial surface. Garcia standing inside his own 5-yard line. Low snap, but he fields it. And a pretty good kick against the wind. Goes out of bounds at the 40, make it the 38-yard line of the Chicago Bears. A 42-yarder from Garcia against the breeze. And we'll be back at Soldier Field with Tampa 28 and the Bears 24. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris, and a reminder that upcoming, John McEnroe and Ivan Lendl, #1 against #2 at the U.S. Open Championship. Yesterday, Hanna Mandlikova defeating Martina Navratilova in a real thriller, and we expect the same kind of action today. Following football, McMahon on first down, and a diving grab by Kenny Marjoram for a first down at the 45-yard line. McMahon a little short with the ball, but Ken Marjoram, the former Stanford whiz, came back to get it.
Actually, he wasn't all that short. That was what you call a great precision type of pass. Marjoram went straight down the field, turned to the outside and came back, and McMahon's timing, because as he comes back, there's the ball right there for the completion. Marjoram playing for Willie Galt, who's dropped a couple of passes, and Mike Ditka has put Marjoram in there, and I don't know if he's said, hey, Willie, that's it, or what. But anyway, Galt is on the sidelines.
First down, Chicago at the 46-yard line of Tampa Bay. McMahon had a little pressure. There was good coverage on Payton, who had slipped out of the backfield. John Cannon had some heat on McMahon, and Castile had the coverage on Payton, and he just couldn't get free in time, and the pass is incomplete. Jeremiah Castile, number 23. Marjoram, interesting rehab from that injury you saw on the screen on the graphics just a few moments ago, coming off knee surgery a year ago. He really kind of constructed his own plan. He was very determined. He did a lot of bike riding on the hills in California where he lives, and he feels that it's built up his thighs and helped to rehab his knee a lot faster. And he actually thinks he's quicker now, can run the 40 faster than when he was just out of college without an injury. McMahon on 2nd and 9, up the middle, complete to Moorhead. 2nd and 10, pardon me, and Moorhead is short of the first down at the 40-yard line, a gain of about 7 yards. Jeff Davis, the linebacker, 58, and Hugh Green, number 53. Combined on the tackle, that solid linebacking core of the Buccaneers.
Well, they like you to let you catch those short passes in front of you, and then the tradition of Tampa Bay is to bring those linebackers and really punish the short pass receiver. So now we have a critical situation, 3rd and 4.5.
Hugh Green likes to be involved in the pass coverage. He thinks that he can cover anybody one-on-one. Rather not see the wide receivers. With tight ends and running backs, he says he can handle.
Blitz.
3rd down, he gets time, and he's got it to McKinnon. McKinnon down the sideline as a Bear first down at the 25-yard line of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 15-yard gain.
The Bucs brought linebackers up the middle, and McKinnon just went down, faked in, came back outside, and McMahon put it on the dime, down the sidelines, and it's a first down for Chicago as the Buccaneers tried to cross the Bears up with that blitz up the middle as Walter Payton comes off the field again, and apparently he's having some trouble breathing or something, because that's the 2nd time he's come off. I don't know exactly what it is.
Dennis Gentry in to replace him. Moorhead in motion behind the ball. McMahon complete to McKinnon. First down, Chicago. Good hit on McKinnon by Castile, and McKinnon gets up a little slowly. A first down at the 13-yard line of Tampa Bay. The Bears driving here to take the lead.
Just down and in the quick post, and that's where McKinnon's open over the middle because he's getting inside position on the cornerbacks, both of them, Holt and Castile.
Well, McKinnon, of course, they're going to worry about that knee every time that he gets hit. Looked like he tried to take another stride after he had been tackled. Brad Anderson comes in to replace him, number 86. McKinnon with knee surgery in July and has had a very careful rehabilitation period through the preseason. 5 defensive backs in on first down, Chicago. Payton is stopped behind the line of scrimmage, and that Tampa defense in crunch time, their front has done a real good job. Jeff Davis, the linebacker, making the hit on Walter Payton, and Hugh Green right there as well, number 53. Fun talking to Hugh Green yesterday about linebackers. He said, who are the great linebackers in the league? He said, well, there's Ricky Jackson and Lawrence Taylor and me, and well, anybody else?
The other two.
Yeah. Is there anybody else? No, I don't think so. I think that's when you talk about the best, that's who you're talking about. And he says that I think I pass cover better than Lawrence Taylor.
Well, he does everything well, which he says he's not as good a blitzer maybe as Taylor, but he covers better, so maybe he has a point.
2nd and 9. Payton looking to dance around that left corner, got inside the 5. He just picked his way carefully through the blockers. He wasn't even moving too quickly, but it was just how he found the real estate. Wound up with a gain of 6, maybe 7 yards, and Green and Davis again on the tackle.
Okay, he has his linemen pulling out in front of him. You'll see Van Horn and Jimbo Covert. And there is Matt Suey pushing Hugh Green back. Payton's going to wait for his blocks. He's waiting. There comes Van Horn right there. Jimbo Covert, 74. And then Payton always manages to get a couple of extra yards. He wound up getting down to the 3-yard line.
Payton took himself out right after that play. Again, something's bothering him. He threw off his sweatband, his headband that he wears, after he took his helmet off. Randall and Morgan have joined the Buccaneer defense. 3rd down and a yard to go. Flags everywhere.
False start, 62 offense.
Mark Bortz.
Number 62, the left guard. A little miscue on the snap call, perhaps, and so they go from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 6.
That does make a difference, doesn't it?
62 offense.
The first down, to get a first down, they have to get inside the 3. And Gentry had come into the lineup for Payton again. We're watching Payton somewhat on the sideline as he was motioning to his head and to his stomach, it seemed. He may just not be feeling well from the heat, which is certainly to be expected, part of a lot of these athletes today.
In the past years, Payton is one guy who's had some problems when it's been extra hot.
Bears have picked up 7 penalties, 73 yards they've hurt themselves. McMahon rolling out, trying to find an open man in the end zone, and it is touchdown, Matt Suhey.
What a grab by Matsui, and what a play by Jim McMahon. He had one guard out there, Kurt Becker. He was under pressure from Washington and Davis, and McMahon waited. He waits for Suhey to clear in the corner of the end zone and throws at the last second. Suhey's got to keep 2 feet in. There's one, kicks the other one down, and it looked like a touchdown for the Chicago Bears. They take the lead for the first time.
Kevin Butler in for the point after. Got it. So the Chicago Bears, with 27 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, have moved in front of the Buccaneers in a high-scoring game, 31-28. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris, and you see the short-haired Jim McMahon. It's actually looking pretty good compared to what it looked like before.
And you can see Matt Suhey, who caught the touchdown pass. Walter Payton, who's dead tired. Suhey got dinged in the head, remember, earlier in the football game. This is really a football game on a day like this. Is a game of will. And you got to reach down sometimes and get up as much as you can, because it's a tough day. The linemen have been bending over, gasping for breath in between plays. It's a tough day. It's where you earn your money.
Line drive kickoff by Kevin Butler eluded the deep return men and went through the end zone. So Tampa will start first down from their 20-yard line. Well, now for an NFL Today report, let's go to Brent Musburger for an update on the San Francisco game.
But Tim, the big story, Minnesota has tied San Francisco. This play set it up. Tommy Kramer to Leo Lewis. Great catch, 23-yard gain. It is all knotted up at 7-all. Let's go back to Tim and Johnny.
Well, the Vikings, with Bud Grant back at the helm, most people expected they would be the doormat in the Central Division after a disaster season last year. Here they are playing the champs tough in the Metrodome.
Soldier Field is going wild at this moment, exhorting the defense on. Big job now for Steve DeBerg.
Bears used up 4:45 in that drive, and we're winding down here in the 3rd quarter. First down from the 20. Wilder dropped for a loss. Steve McMichael, number 76, the 6-year veteran from Texas.
Okay, the Bears were in their 46 defense, but moving some people. A little bit of confusion. Watch 50 Singletary. There goes 50's telling everybody where to get. Marshall got inside. Oh, we're at the end of the quarter as the Chicago Bears. You'll see McMichael's the one who ends up getting the tackle. Singletary's trying to devise, tell everybody where to go. Apparently, Steve McMichael, 76, he heard it right because he made the tackle.
Well, we finished the 3rd period. At the end of the 3rd quarter, the score, Tampa Bay 28, the Chicago Bears 31. We pause for a word from your local station.
Beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer, and less.
False start on the quarterback. Illegal movement by the quarterback.
Well, the first play of the 4th quarter sees Steve DeBerg charged for the 2nd time illegal procedure. Again, either a cadence change or moving his head or shoulders to draw the defense offside. It may have not even been intentionally designed to do that, but if it effectively did so, then he gets the call, and that's what happened.
So they're in a 2nd and 15 situation, and with Wilder kind of banged up, I don't know. I think it's going to have to be House or Giles or somebody like that. He's going to have to take his chances on getting down the field.
2nd and 15. From the 13-yard line, Gary Bell in motion. They give it to Wilder, trying the right side. He slipped trying to cut upfield, and it's dropped for another loss. Well, perhaps just a no-gainer at the line of scrimmage. Otis Wilson, Singletary, and Wilbur Marshall, number 58. All 3 linebackers were there to make sure Wilder did not move.
I think what's going to happen is the pass play should have been on this down rather than the 3rd down coming up situation here. As you can see, the Bears are all over it, and Wilder had not at 100%. Now the Bears will go into one of their prevent defenses, and this is the toughest time to throw against Chicago. They had the best record in the league the last 5 or 6 years in percentage of completions against them on 3rd down.
Timeout called by the Buccaneers on this 3rd and long. With the ball at the 13-yard line, Steve DeBerg is going to go and consult with Lehman Bennett. We were talking earlier about DeBerg and having to be the man who knows all of the terminology and all of the assignments and passes those along to each player individually, changing a short play call into a considerably longer one from last year, as an example, when the call was short and everybody else knew precisely what they were to do. If Steve Young is to be signed, as they hope to do, the young man from the USFL and BYU is a collegian, I would think that with what DeBerg was telling us yesterday, it would take Steve Young some time just to learn the terminology, let alone find himself in a position to compete with DeBerg this season. I would agree with that, and so does Lehman Bennett. DeBerg's done well in this football game. The key play of this football game was that interception that gave the Bears the quick 7 points at the beginning of the 2nd half, and it seemed to turn the tide, and Tampa Bay has been trying to hold them off. They need a big play, and it's tough to get on the Bears on 3rd down, so we'll see what happens. Pittsburgh really doing a job on the Colts in their opener, 38-3, Mark Malone and company for the Steelers. And New England leading Green Bay 19-6. Tampa and Chicago fans happy to see that score. Green Bay finished the season so well last year, considered a contender in the NFC Central. All right, the Buccaneers are ready, and they go with a straight-ahead dive to Wilder on 3rd and 15, and McMichael made the tackle. They had a long discussion for a rather simple play. Well, they figured it was going to be tough to get the throw against the Bears, and but I say you're asking a lot to get 15 yards on a draw play with anybody. And it wasn't even a very well disguised draw. I mean, it was almost a straight handoff, although it looked like it was designed as a draw play on 3rd and 15. Garcia standing in his end zone. Taylor way back at the Bears' 35-yard line, and the ball is blocked. The punt is blocked by Sean Gale, and it is a dead ball at the 13-yard line. Sean Gale, number 23, blocking the punt, the 2nd-year man from Ohio State. Okay, Garcia gets it 1, 2, 3.5 steps, and Sean Gale came from the outside. Just quickness from the outside. Nobody brushed him. He got through. The Bears now have a chance to put the Bucs in a big, big hole. 1st down at the 13-yard line. The defense is on the spot now. Marjoram goes left. McKinnon right. Payton back into the ball game. Calvin Thomas replacing Matt Suey on this play. McMahon has Thomas wide open. Thomas goes to the 1-yard line. Calvin Thomas slipping out of the backfield. Ivory Sully, number 44, stopped him from going into the end zone. but it's a first down after a 12-yard gain.
And what a collision here as McMahon rolls out. Kurt Becker, watch 79. He's going to get two guys on one block. There's two of them right there, and they both go down. There's the throw to Thomas, and then Ivory Sully really takes a shot. Boy, as Thomas is 245 pounds. Boy, he's hard to bring down, but he did stop him. The Bears down to the one, first down. The Bucs are in big trouble.
Andy Frederick comes in to add extra blocking on this goal line situation.
Chicago timeout.
Timeout called by the Bears. So a little mix-up of some kind that McMahon wants to make sure he has absolutely straight, as the Bears have a chance here with 12:37 remaining regulation time to really open up a lead.
Jack Rafferty.
Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris as we see Mike Ditka looking on as his team has first and goal at the 1-yard line of Tampa Bay following Sean Gale's blocked punt. Blocking the punt of Frank Garcia. Jim McMahon took a timeout to make sure that they have the right play ready here on first and goal. Moorhead starts in motion, reverses himself, rolling out as McMahon. He will walk in. Flags everywhere, and you know what this is going to be? Too much celebration in the end zone. And that will be tacked on to the Bears kickoff.
You got to be kidding.
Well, no, I'm not, because that's all that could be. McMahon and Kurt Becker.
They scored a touchdown. Will penalize 5 yards on the kickoff. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Someone other than the man scoring a touchdown spiked the ball.
It's called unsportsmanlike conduct. Technically, that was put in last year, as you may recall, after the high incidence of spiking that used to go on, and they tried to cool out all of the stuff that was happening in the end zone. I don't think this one was too overdone.
No, they didn't call it very much last year either, as McMahon. They faked to Peyton, and McMahon just cruised into the end zone and holds the ball. Kurt Becker comes over.
He gave the ball to Becker.
Becker, 79, and he spikes the ball. So that's the 5-yard penalty,
then
folks.
They gave it a couple of low fives, and they got the penalty.
Well, I never agreed with that penalty when they call it, except for extreme cases. I mean, let the guys have a little celebration, it would seem like to me.
Well, it's not supposed to be fun out there. This is big business.
It's supposed to be
that?
fun. I think I remember it used to be fun.
All right. Well, the Bears are having a little more fun than the Buccaneers are right now, but there's 12:32 still to play in this game as Jim McMahon gets a little air down there. Well, the air conditioner will work on that haircut. It hasn't got a whole lot to get through.
We have had 66 points scored in this football game. Who would have thunk it? And you know, this is a big game for Mike Ditka and a big bang for the Chicago Bear offense due to the fact that usually when this team needs to be saved, it's the defense that does it. This is the time that the offense has come through for the Chicago Bear defense and come back. And the offense is Mike Ditka's bailiwick, so that's got to be a lot of pride for him feeling about this. Now, Tampa Bay's not through yet. We still have a long time to play.
The Giants lead Philadelphia 21-0. A second touchdown by Joe Morris. St. Louis 17, the Cleveland Browns 3 in the fourth quarter. Gary Danielson was scheduled to start for Cleveland in that game, not the rookie Kozar. Detroit's moved ahead of Atlanta, 28-24. And remember, next week the Lions will be at home against the Dallas Cowboys. The Lions under the new coach Darryl Rogers. They've got Wilbert Montgomery over there from the Eagles. And they could turn out to be a surprise in the Central Division. The Vikings, who are playing the 49ers even in the fourth quarter at 7-all, they'll be at Tampa Bay. The Giants at Green Bay, Atlanta at San Francisco, the first games of the doubleheader Sunday. And a good kickoff is taken by McGee, Calvin McGee, the reserve U-back, number 86, the rookie from Southern, and he gets to the 45-yard line. So the Buccaneers will start with good field position here with 12:24 remaining. And Johnny, your comment on that decision. Do you like that kickoff play or not with 12:24?
You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about Pete Rose. I just saw on the scoreboard, Pete Rose has just tied Ty Cobb's record, 4,191 hits. So he needs only one more. So back to football.
Is Rose, is he a wide receiver or running back?
He was a halfback in high school, and a good one.
I bet he was. Congratulations, Pete. First down, Buccaneers from the 45-yard line. Wilder trying to get outside. Takes it upfield. Otis Wilson was doing a good job on the block of Jerry Bell, but Wilder just determinedly battered his way forward inside the block, wound up with nearly a 10-yard gain. He has just been outstanding today. Singletary and McMichael put the stop on him. Remember, he's playing with a sore shoulder that occurred earlier in the game.
And the Bucs have gone to the run. They haven't thrown much in the last few minutes of the game. And
141 yards, 22 carries. And it is second and about a half yard. Tampa Bay, and they're in Bears territory. Wilder again takes it outside. Leaped over the tackle of Fensick and landed again on that bad shoulder. And he has the first down and then some inside the 35, but he is in pain. He tried to hurdle Fensick, who again tackled him low. Smart play by Fensick, but Wilder, out of control in the air, landed on that sore shoulder. A flag down on the play.
Holding, 88 offense, 10-yard penalty.
Oh, you got to feel badly for Wilder. A painful gain for a first down will be called back on a holding penalty against Jimmy Giles.
Well, there's the end of the illegal block, I believe. But here goes Wilder up and over, and then he comes down on that shoulder. That's the shoulder that he hurt, and he's playing on guts, I'll tell you. He's going to have to leave the ball game now, and we haven't been able to determine how serious it is, if it's a slight separation or what kind of a bruise it is, whether it be a long-term type of injury. That would be very detrimental to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because he's their offense.
The penalty will leave them a 2nd and 5, I believe. They spotted the ball at the 50-yard line. You know, you mentioned how he's a sharp dresser, one of the best dressed men in the NFL. I read recently that he's signed a modeling contract with the John Casablanca Agency, which is one of the prestigious modeling agencies, and they say he's a real natural talent, and that he'll have some things to do in the off season, and after his pro career might lead to some other opportunities for James Wilder. Right now, all he's thinking about is a sore shoulder. Now let's see that record-breaking or tying hit by Pete Rose. Here's Brent Musburger in New York.
All right, Tim, here it is. Through the courtesy of WGN in Chicago, Pete Rose just moments ago lashed this line drive. He's 2 or 3. He's tied it. A chance to break it a little bit later. Back to Tim Ryan.
What a guy. I mean, he's such a terrific competitor. Pete Rose. And a sack by Richard Dent. Back to the 40-yard line, his second of the day. Steve DeBerg dropped back at the 40, a 10-yard loss. 17.5 sacks last season, led the league in the NFL for Richard Dent, and he's got 2 here in his opening game of this 1985 season.
If he averages 2 a game, that's what? 32 for the year. So he's off to another good start, and he didn't play all the games last year.
They spot the ball at the 44, so it is 3rd and 11. Edger Armstrong is in, and Steve DeBerg has to call a timeout.
Tampa Bay second timeout. Tampa Bay second timeout.
Well, now I think we're seeing a little bit of the effects of the new offense and the new situation of what he's going to do in certain situations, and his communication with Lehman Bennett and Jimmy Ray.
We'll be back here at Soldier Field. The Bears lead by 10, 38-28. Well, that's next week, live Eastern time. Notre Dame and Michigan, one of the oldest rivalries in college football. And here we have 3rd and 11 for Tampa Bay, and action everywhere. DeBerg went back without the football. He got 3 Bears with him. And the center, Randy Grimes, did not snap the ball.
Ball starts 17. The quarterback, he pulled out without the ball.
So there's apparent mix-up on the snap signal. You mean they went to the sidelines and had a timeout and everything for that to happen?
You got the snap count wrong. Well, that's embarrassing, is what that is. That's like some old Tampa Bay football that we've seen in the past. And they started out like a house afire here this afternoon. But in this half, the Bears have had 108 yards of total offense against only 40 for Tampa Bay. And meanwhile, the Bears have scored 3 touchdowns. DeBerg intended for Giles, incomplete. The ball was there. Giles dropped it. He had Richardson turned around on the play. Couldn't hold on to the ball.
No, I think the one thing that Richardson did do was he screened Giles so that Giles didn't see the ball till the last second. At any rate, it's 4th down for Tampa Bay.
Garcia at the 23-yard line of the Buccaneers. And again, Taylor showing a lot of respect way back at the 10 of Chicago, and Garcia booms it. Inside the 10, taken by Taylor at the 7. Gets a great block from Frazier and gets to the 20-yard line. Leslie Frazier flattened the big tight end, Mark Woody. That was a bit of a gamble on the part of the rookie whether to run that from inside the 10. They'll generally let the ball go in.
Well, the gamble was the way he caught it. He reached up like the center fielder for a high fly ball. But anyway, he hung on to the ball. Here comes the block by Frazier on Whitty. And then Taylor turns the corner, almost set up his picket. A couple of Bucs get him, knock him out of bounds. The Bears have it, 1st down.
The rookie Ken Taylor from Oregon State, a free agent who certainly has been the most pleasant surprise of the newcomers to the Chicago Bears, and Coach Mike Ditka, reserve cornerback and being used as a punt returner, something he did not do in college. He's really learning on the job in the pros. 1st down. McMahon rolling out, gets away from 2 tacklers and dives over the 25 to the 27. He was hit there by Brantley and Green.
Boy, he tried to dig a hole, didn't he?
He dropped the ball on top of them afterwards. Miami in front of Houston 23 to 19. And the Dolphins lost Marino early in that game with an injury to his left hand, not his passing hand. Seattle in front of, no, that's a final now. The Seahawks 28, the Bengals 24. Kansas City beaten up on New Orleans 33 to 17. There'll be some heat on Bum Phillips if they don't get a good start down there. San Francisco has now moved ahead of Minnesota 21 to 14, breaking up a 7-7 tie in the 4th quarter. Marjoram fielding another low ball has the 1st down, it would appear, at the 31-yard line. It'll be close. On 2nd and 5, he does have the 1st down.
Notice Jim McMahon's hand. He had a big scrape on his hand before the game started, with all scabbed up and down his hand, and he was hoping that he wouldn't break it loose. But of course, especially on the artificial surface, you're going to do that. But I'm sure he's not going to worry about that much, and I'm sure that the Bears are going to go to strict ball control now. Short passes, a few runs with Peyton, a mixture of Suey trying to eat up the clock. 8:53 left in the game.
1st down from the Bears 31. Suey gets close to the 35, a gain of about 3 yards. And we see the Giants that score is now final. The Giants 21, the Eagles nothing. So a good start for Bill Parcells and company. 2 touchdowns by Joe Morris and the touchdown pass by Bill Sims. They lost their tight end Zeke Moat for the season with a knee injury, and that was a big blow, but they could be a real factor in the NFC East. 2nd down and 7.
The Bears' entire starting lineup is still in there with the exception of Willie Gault.
Peyton's had a few rests. Suey went out hurt but came back. Peyton's got lots of room. To the 40-yard line of Tampa Bay. Ivory Shelley forced him out. They'll spot it at the 39. 26-yard gain for Walter Payton.
And it was easy as they got to the outside. Nobody to contain on the outside. Matt Suey. There's the block by 79 Brecker and Matt Suey, number 26. And then it was just a foot race as Payton goes down the sideline. Sully had the angle, knocked him out of bounds, but Payton's going to head for that 100-yard mark. He's 13 for 93, so Sweetness is going to get another 100-yard game before this one is over. Boy, he's something else, isn't he? Of course, he had some great blocking on that one
First down at the Tampa Bay 39. They come out on the I formation. Moorhead set up on the wing right. Marjoram and McKinnon the wide receivers. Willie Gull has not been in since his last drop. Walter Payton inside the 30.
What running.
Hugh Green made the check it. Jeff Davis, 58, made the ankle tackle.
You talk about instinctive and smart running. Payton on this one played off the block by Suey, 26, who hit Washington, and then made a great move on Castile. Now watch 26 hit 51. Payton waits for the block, fakes in, cuts out, and then he cuts back in on Castile, 23, right here. I mean, you can't do it any better than that, folks. You can't.
102 yards on the day for Walter Payton. 14 carries. He and Wilder have just been brilliant in the running department. Wilder had over 100 in the first half today for Tampa Bay. 38-28, 7 minutes to play. Bears on the roll here. Suey almost lost the ball.
He did.
He did lose the ball. Thought he grabbed it back, but it is Jeff Davis, number 58, coming up with the loose ball, and so the Buccaneers have stopped the Bears at their 23-yard line, and they have got lots of time. 6:54 remaining, and they trail by 10. Tampa Bay dominated the first half, although not so much in the stats, but in the scoring because of their opportunistic play after turnovers. And then in the second half, it's been all Chicago.
You talk about a gimme. Suey was just starting to fall down, and the ball just popped out of his arms and right into Davis's arms, and he said, "Thank you, Ma, I'll take it." So now it's Tampa Bay's ball, down by 10 points, 6:54 left in the game.
The Bird brings out the Buccaneers, first down at their own 23. Wilder picks up maybe 3 yards out the right side. They're stringing out his end runs a little better now. Dent and Dewerson forcing the play. Singletary and Wilson making the tackle.
Well, Wilder continues. This is what you call in football. He's just playing on courage. That time he had to dip his right shoulder because he was afraid to hit the left. But as good as Wilder is and everything, I don't think Tampa Bay is going to catch up if they keep handing the ball off to Wilder. I mean, they're just eating the clock down. They're going to have to. As tough as it is, you got to throw on first and second downs to beat the Bears, not on third down.
2nd and 6. Gary Fensick left the field with an injury for the Bears, and it is complete to Jerry Bell. Fine pass from DeBerg. On the tackle, Dave Dewerson, but a Tampa Bay first down at their own 42-yard line. A 14-yard pickup. DeBerg to Jerry Bell.
This is what they were doing so well earlier in the game when they were controlling things. That was a regular 7-step drop back, and Bell just had some clearance there on the coverage, makes the grab, and gets a first down for Tampa Bay. Now, I know it's really tempting to give it to Wilder, but if you're going to beat the Bears and you want some normal coverage, you got to throw on first and or second like they did the last time.
Fensick returned after one play to the Bears secondary. Let's see if he throws on first down, and he does. DeBerg on a straight drop. He's got lots of time. He bombs it down for Carter. Incomplete. Carter with coverage by Richardson. The ball slightly overthrown a couple of yards. So it is second down. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the written consent of the Chicago Bears and the National Football League is prohibited. Steve DeBerg, 10 of 16, 126 yards, 3 touchdown passes, all in the first half, 2 interceptions. Damon Bennett has seen quite a turn of events here in the second half, but his team still very much in the ball game. 5:58 to play. High-scoring battle in the season opener at Soldier Field. Wilder with a lot of running room. All the way to the Bear 42-yard line, and another Tampa Bay first down. Tripped up by Fensick and Richardson. 15-yard gain for Wilder.
Well, he's doing a job. That's a big play. Let's watch the hold. Great blocking by the interior of the line. You see the pulling guards, and there is George Yarno, number 69, throwing a key block on Singletary to spring Wilder up the field, and then brought down by Frazier and Richardson.
166 yards, 25 carries for Wilder, and playing, remember, with a sore shoulder, suffered back early in the third period. 1st and 10. The Buccaneers on the march. DeBerg with time, intended for Giles, incomplete, but a flag is down. DeBerg is down, and it may be roughing the passer. Dent is there. He had the hit. Let's see what the call is.
No.
DeBerg getting up slowly.
It's against one of the offensive linemen of Tampa Bay for holding.
One thing that DeBerg has not been able to do is to get it to Jimmy Giles much today.
Holding, 62 offense. 10-yard penalty.
Holding against Sean Farrell, the 4-year man from Penn State, probably their best offensive lineman. Let's see what happened on the hit.
I'll say one thing, he held his ground and took the shot. Boy, that's what you call a head snapper.
Yeah, I got hit from behind on the blind side, and it was a clean hit.
Yep.
So the holding penalty backs up the Buccaneers to the 47-yard line of Tampa Bay. DeBerg to Jerry Bell. Bell breaks tackles and gets to the 35-yard line. DeBerg continues to throw the ball well. Singletary made the tackle there. It'll bring up a 3rd down and about 2 yards long, we'll call it. An 18-yard gain.
Well, you talk about a key play. You know, the Bears haven't blitzed as much as they usually do. You noticed? I mean, they're a blitzing team, and they have some, but not a heck of a lot. As Mike Singletary takes in the signals, 3rd and 2, what would you call, Tim?
Second down, pardon me, Johnny. Yes,
second. Oh, that's an easy call. You can do whatever you want.
Second down. Wilder tripped up behind the line by Dewerson, the safety coming up, and he has held very little, if any, gain. Dave Dewerson trying to fill the strong safety shoes of Todd Bell, who's still a holdout. And we have 4:11 and ticking with Chicago in front by 10. You know, with Dewerson having to play in Bell's spot, it really affects 2 positions as I see it, because Dewerson was a very effective nickelback, a guy who can go and intercept that ball for you, and when he came in on passing downs, he was a key guy. Now Sean Gale fills that role. 3rd down and a long 3. Oh! Jerry Bell dropped the ball in the open field. Jerry Bell, who has made some tough catches today, a little eager to get upfield on that one. Hampton had the rush on Steve DeBerg.
Well, he was through there as quick as the snap was, and DeBerg was backpedaling, did a great job of getting the ball off because Hampton was all over. It's going to look like David and Goliath, and Bell had the ball in his hands, could not hang on.
4th down. Bucs will have to go. Look at this. Houston has upset Miami, 26-23. Warren Moon and company. We had passed along a report that Marino was injured early in that game. We don't know whether he continued or finished or whatever, but Pittsburgh, meanwhile, a final score over Indianapolis, 45-3. All right, 4th down here. Play action rolling out, and they pass it to Bell, and he has the 1st down. Well, Jerry Bell quickly makes up with a 1st down play inside the 30-yard line. So the Buccaneers are rolling with 3:27 and counting. Now they've got to get one in the end zone in a hurry here in order to leave themselves enough time, certainly the 2-minute, get the ball back and have a chance to either force overtime or score the winning points.
An interesting call, one of the few rollouts for DeBerg. You know, he doesn't roll out all that much, and that time when he did, he had all kinds of room out there. The Bears pass rush has been designed because he's a pocket type of passer, so it's a good call.
73 yards on 6 receptions for Jerry Bell. He's been a key figure today. Lots of time for DeBerg. Hits Gerald Carter, shakes off the tackle of Marshall. Out of bounds, close to the 1st down marker. Wilbur Marshall, the linebacker, gave him a little shot when the ball arrived, but didn't hold on, so Carter turned it upfield for a 9-yard gain.
Okay, Mr. DeBerg. Straight rush by the Bears, 4-man, no blitz, a double team there on McMichael, and you can see the pass out there. Good catch. The Bears bring him down as he busts the tackle, goes knocked out of bounds, and it'll be interesting to see if Tampa Bay, they're going to be faced with a field goal or a touchdown here sooner or later.
2nd and less than a yard. 2:50 to play. DeBerg. Whoa! Richardson nearly had a pickoff, and he had nothing but daylight. Intended for Gerald Carter. Third and less than a yard. For an NFL report on the 49er Minnesota game, let's go to Brent Musburger.
Well, Tim, here's the last dramatic development. The 49ers with the ball in the lead. But Scott Studwell punches it out of Wendell Tyler's grasp. And it's scooped up by Doug Martin. He goes 25 yards. Alfred Anderson just bucked into the end zone. It's tied at 21. The 49ers have fumbled the kickoff. Minnesota can go in again. They're deadlocked at 21. Back to you, Tim.
Oh. Wouldn't that be something?
That's been an interesting ball game, to say the least. It was 7-7 into the fourth period at Minnesota. And all kinds of fireworks. Here's Wilder on third down. He's got the first down, but he's now dropped. Will they give him that forward progress, or is he still moving? They're going to give him the forward progress, I believe. He had the first down, or very close to it. No? Short of they're going to spot it at the 21. Singletary finally made the tackle behind the line of scrimmage, and he is not yet up. And so it'll be fourth down, and about a yard to go when we return with 2:25 to play. Back at Soldier Field, it turned into a 1-yard loss as Wilder, trying to get the first down from a yard away, was knocked backwards. They spotted his forward progress, but it still turned out to be a 1-yard loss, so it is 4th and 2. And they have sent in the field goal unit, Donald Igwebikwe from Nigeria, and Clemson.
His first attempt
as a pro. Didn't have any opportunities in the preseason. The man he beat out, Obed Ariri, did the field goal kicking. And he hit the goalpost. He hit the upright. Igwebikwe hit the upright. A 38-yard attempt. And so the Buccaneers are up against it. 2:20 remains, and they trail by 10 points.
Well, an inauspicious beginning as he hits the upright, and really not much left for Tampa Bay now, because aside from missing this field goal and being down 10 points, they only have, I think, one timeout, because they had to use a couple of timeouts throughout the second half because of confusion as to what they were going to run. So the Buccaneers are in big trouble after a very spirited effort here. They played a heck of a football game.
So the Bears take over at the line of scrimmage, the 21-yard line of Chicago. McKinnon in motion. They give it to Payton. Payton steps inside. He's got Bortz ahead of him. Perfectly timed burst through as a first down for the Bears to the 36-yard line.
He is so beautiful on playing these blockers. I mean, he did it twice on that run, and there's a lot of runners, you do that by thinking. It's not all instinct, but he's got Kurt Becker coming first. He plays off the block by Kurt Becker there, cuts inside that. Now he's got Mark Bortz, 62. He waits for Mark Bortz to kick his man out, and then he cuts back inside. That's brains and instinct and ability.
14-yard gain for Walter Payton. And a first down, Chicago at their own 36. 2:13 on the clock. And we talked about the importance of this game, even though it's the first one of the season. It's a divisional game. Payton this time stopped after a pickup of a couple. And last year the Bears were 7-1 inside their division and went on to win the title. Detroit had done the same thing the year before. And you just got to beat the guys in your own division, and the rest of it kind of takes care of itself. So we're at the 2-minute warning here with Chicago 38, Tampa Bay 28. So the Bears are 2nd and 8. Walter Payton is hit again right at the line of scrimmage and got little of anything there. The man to make initial contact, Scott Brantley, number 52,
Last timeout.
followed by Chris Washington, and the Buccaneers take their final timeout. Third down. They'll give Payton a yard on the play. 3rd and 7, 1:52 to play. The Bears lead by 10. And remember, coming next on CBS Sports this afternoon, what should be a thrilling final between number 1 seeded John McEnroe, number 2 Yvonne Lendl. Lendl dispatching Jimmy Connors in straight sets. has been the finalist for the 3rd year in a row, and looking to maybe break that reputation, not being able to win the Grand Slam events. McEnroe going for his 3rd straight U.S. Open title. Next on CBS Sports.
Walter Payton came off the football field again as Gentry went in, number 29. Bears, interesting situation. 3rd and about 7. Do you run the ball, since they have no timeouts left, and run it down to 120 or 115 or something like that, and then give the ball back on a punt? Or do you take a chance and go for a pass play? Interesting call. With there more chance to get a first down on a pass play. Look at this, Detroit 28-7 over to 27 over Atlanta. So the NFC Central teams have a chance to have a big day as far as the winners are concerned.
Green Bay on the short end, however.
Yeah.
To New England, 26-20. All right, this is 3rd down and 7. Big play for Tampa Bay. They've got to stop him here. They throw the screen to Thomas out of the backfield. Thomas slipping into the middle, a flag down. He is short of the first down by 3 yards. Let's see what the flag is.
It's an important call.
Well, Mr. Barth's microphone a little bit on the blink there at the moment. And that is an ineligible receiver signal that he gave.
But Tampa Bay will probably decline the penalty.
78 and 62 were downfield illegally on the forward pass. Penalty refused. 4th down.
Well, that was just a little miscue there where the offensive linemen were downfield where they might be in a position to block on the run, and they were called for being ineligibly downfield on that little dump off to Calvin Thomas. So the Bears will have to punt. 1:46 remains for Tampa Bay to come up somehow with 10 points and force overtime or 2 touchdowns and win it. Tall order for the Buccaneers. Maury Buford. High punt, a flag down. The punt bouncing down to the 5-yard line. The Bucs didn't bother having a deep man back there, and there is a penalty against Tampa Bay.
Roughing the kicker.
51-yard punt by Maury Buford. And there'll be a roughing the kicker penalty against Tampa Bay. And that'll be pretty much the ball game for them.
Personal foul. Number 90 of the defense ran into the kicker. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Running into the kicker, the rookie Ron Holmes. Tough break for this youngster who's played a pretty good game here in his first NFL outing. And the ball is gone, and here comes Holmes, and the kicker's off balance, and while he didn't really wrap him, he did run into him.
Yeah, he tried to avoid him. It's not very rough. It's not a very roughing the rough of the kicker.
Right. Contacting, maybe, should be the right terminology. Running into is the actual call. Running into the kicker. Tough break for the rookie Ron Holmes. And for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because of the Chicago ball, 1st down at their own 49-yard line. And they give it to Matt Suhey. Suhey has a good hole up the middle, picks up about 8 yards.
And I think a storm is fast approaching Soldier Field as the dark clouds come in and the wind is just picked up by about 30 miles an hour. That hurricane didn't get this far north, did it?
112 and ticking down. And the wind is just completely turned around, Johnny. As you mentioned, that storm coming in. The wind is now blowing in the opposite direction from what it's been blowing all day. And the fans, seeing the approaching cloud front here, are starting to head to the exits. The wind has really come up.
Tampa Bay cannot stop the clock anymore.
2nd and 1. Dennis Gentry cuts it back in the opposite direction from whence he started and has the 1st down to the 38-yard line with 38 seconds and counting down. So the Chicago Bears have scored their first victory of the 1985 season. It was an exciting, wide-open game that Tampa Bay did an outstanding job in the first half, opportunistic, and rolling up a 28-17 lead, but it was all Bears in the second half, offensively and defensively, and they wind up with a 38-28 victory as they try to defend their Central Division championship. Mike Ditka over to give his handshake to Lehman Bennett, An entertaining game for the hometown fans in Chicago and a good show by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's all from Soldier Field.